Chapter 1172. Commander, what exactly happened? Seven-Ju asked. Knight Sorrow told him what had happened and apologized to Chi Wang. That's because I overlooked something. I thought they wouldn't know about our plan. I thought everyone in the Heavenly Tiger Army had sworn an oath to the way of the heavens. They wouldn't say anything that would harm the interests of the Azure Imperial Dynasty, and they wouldn't put their brothers in danger. However, they also have families. They can go against their oaths for their families, said Yishan. I'll go and find out who leaked the information, Seven-Ju said. There's no need to ask. Yesterday, there was a captain of the Storm Army whose body was destroyed by the rules of heaven. It should be him, Storm sighed. Chi Wang, you don't have to worry too much. I'll think of a way. Even if I have to use resources in exchange, I'll get your family back. If I can't, I'll send you back. I just don't know if the Red Emperor's dynasty will still accept you, Knight Sorrow said. They won't accept us anymore. The Red Emperor and Chiwa won't ask why we betrayed them. They will only value our betrayal and won't accept it. Chi Wang shook his head. I'll think of another way, Knight Sorrow said to Chi Wang. Then, Knight Sorrow went to the captive area of the Sky Tiger Army and asked everyone to gather. We're all soldiers. It's our destiny to die on the battlefield. We shouldn't die in scheming. But now, there's a problem. The key to the rescue may be you. Knight Sorrow told them the problem that Chi Wang's family was facing. Whatever the Commander-in-Chief says, we'll do. Everything that General Chi Wang has done is for our sake. We're willing to do something for Sovereign King Chi Wang as well. The captives looked at Chi Wang and expressed their stand. The new V is the fastest Q4. The Red Emperor's country already knows. Whether or not General Chi Wang's family is here, I will let you go. So, it's useless for me to threaten you, Knight Sorrow said. Commander, let's do it for real. If they don't send General Chi Wang away, you won't let him go. If General Chi Wang is willing to sacrifice everything for us, we can do the same, one of the leading soldiers said. I'm not here to do anything to you. I just don't want Military Lord Chi Wang's family to be hurt. I'm here to inform you that the time limit for your release will be extended. Knight Sorrow spoke his mind. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands towards the soldiers and returned to the commander's office. He wanted to wait for the outcome of the negotiations with the Empire's officials before making a decision. Only one day had passed, and the officials of the Qing Emperor's dynasty who were in charge of negotiating with the Red Emperor's kingdom had sent back a message. The Red Emperor's kingdom simply gave an excuse, saying that they had gone to look for Chi Wang's family, but there was no news. Then, the Qing Emperor's dynasty began to attack public opinion. Tabloids spread to many cities in the Red Emperor's kingdom. In the Coiling Dragon residence where the Red Emperor was resting, the Red Emperor asked Chi Hua about what had happened. He thought for a moment and said, "It's useless for you to stop them. Kill them. That's a crime against the world, and it'll greatly damage your reputation. It's not worth it." "But I'm not willing to just give them away," Chi Hua said. "Now, you have two choices in front of you. One is to personally send Chi Wang's family to Sky Tiger Pass and say some blessings to Chi Wang and the other two. That way, you can win the hearts of the soldiers who were released. The other is to use a scapegoat and kill Chi Wang's family. But what's the result? Chi Wang might hate Knight Sorrow, but it's more likely that he'll hate you. In addition, this incident will greatly damage the reputation of the Red Emperor's kingdom." The Red Emperor looked at Chi Hua and voiced his opinion. "I don't have a choice. I still need the soldiers at Sky Tiger Pass because they know Sky Tiger Pass well," Chi Hua said. "Go. It's not a big deal to lose once. Just think of a way to win it back." The Red Emperor waved his hand at Chi Hua. Chi Hua bowed at the Red Emperor and left the Coiling Dragon residence. Seven-Ju, Gale, and Chi Wang were drinking. Seven-Ju and Gale were also comforting Chi Wang. "Killing your family members will hurt the hearts of all the soldiers." "Chi Hua won't do that," Gale said. But he has such thoughts. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stopped the people from the Qing Emperor's kingdom from picking up my family members. He knows that the commander will let the other soldiers go. If he's magnanimous enough, he shouldn't have stopped them. Qi Huang was a little disappointed with Qiwa's actions. Don't worry. Commander Knight Sorrow won't let us down, Seven Ju said. Yes. He won't let us down. Qi Huang took a sip of wine. Knight Sorrow waited for news from the kingdom. He was worried that the Red Emperor's kingdom would fly into a rage out of humiliation and kill Qi Huang's family. That would cause irreparable consequences. However, someone sent a message saying that a group of people had appeared outside the Sky Tiger Pass sky ceiling array. Knight Sorrow investigated and found that it was only a small group of people and a group of family members. The leader was Qihua, who was protected by two elders. Commander, those are my family members, Qi Huang said excitedly. It seems that he has thought it through. He knows that he has to let them go even if he doesn't want to. It's better to be magnanimous. However, when he stopped us, he already made his stance clear. Nu Lin, bring some people to guard the entrance of the array. Knight Sorrow took out the array board and opened the path. Knight Sorrow, you don't have to be so careful and sneak in to pick them up. If you want them, just say it openly, Qihua said to Knight Sorrow, who was standing at the top of the Sky Tiger Pass. Whether or not I have the heart of a villain, and whether or not you have no choice but to hand him over, we all know in our hearts. There's no need to use any psychological attacks. Qi Huang and the others are also rational people. They won't be affected by a few words. Hand him over. Yi Shan didn't want to talk too much nonsense with Qi Hua. It was meaningless. Of course. Seven Ju and Gale's family members have been taken away by you. Qi Huang's family members have also been sent over today. I don't want to see the soldiers of Sky Tiger Pass trapped in a cage. When will you let them go? Qi Hua asked while looking at the top of the Sky Tiger Pass. Qi Huang has reunited with his family. Seven Ju and Gale's family members have successfully arrived in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. I will let them go immediately. Don't worry. I, Knight Sorrow, am a man of my word, Knight Sorrow said. All right, Knight Sorrow. You took the initiative this time and ambushed Sky Tiger Pass. However, I will take it back. Don't die in the hands of others. I, Qihua, will take 1,000,000 merits, Qihua shouted while pointing his battle sword at Knight Sorrow. 1,000,000 merits. It seems like the Red Emperor's dynasty still thinks highly of me. Leave Qi Huang's family members behind and leave. Knight Sorrow didn't expect that he was worth 1,000,000 merits in the Red Emperor's dynasty. Seven Ju, Gale, Qi Huang, we have been friends for many years. This time, it was my, Qiwa's, incompetence that caused you to be imprisoned. I, Qihua, am here to apologize to you. I hope that you will live well in the future. Qihua left with his men. Since he had no intention of staying any longer, he couldn't use psychological tricks in front of Knight Sorrow. As for the other soldiers of the Red Emperor's dynasty in Sky Tiger Pass, he could only use psychological manipulation when they returned to the Red Emperor's dynasty. After Qihua left, Nu Lin accompanied Qi Huang down the Sky Tiger Pass. They were all very cautious, worried that Qihua had a backup plan. Chapter 1173. Qihua didn't leave any hidden traps because he knew that it was useless. Knight Sorrow wouldn't give spies a chance to sneak in. Knight Sorrow heaved a sigh of relief after bringing Qi Huang's family to Tianhu Pass. Nu Lin, arrange for people to bring Qi Huang's family to 9-story building. Tell Butler he to find a place to settle down. Qi Huang, I will give you some time off. Go accompany your family first, Knight Sorrow said. After that, Knight Sorrow went to the commander's office and brewed a pot of tea. He felt much more assured. Bringing Qi Huang and the other two's family members over meant that he didn't break his promise. Qi Ju and the other two could truly serve him. Qi Huang's matter was settled. Soon, news came from within the empire that Qi Wang and Gale's family members had arrived and were sent to 9-story building. Night Sorrow brought his men to the camp where the captives were. I, Night Sorrow, have wronged all of you. The families of Qi Ju, Qi Wang, and Gale have been safely brought over. You should go back and reunite with your families. My name is Night Sorrow. I live in the Qing Empire's 9-story building. In the future, when you have nothing to do, you can come to 9-story building to drink with me. Qi Ju, Gale, and Qi Wang will be there too. Men, bring wine. Send our brothers off. Night Sorrow shouted to the New Lin army soldiers behind him. Every soldier of Sky Tiger Army drank a jar of wine and then bowed to Night Sorrow. After opening the ceiling sky formation and sending the soldiers of Sky Tiger Army who had family members out of the pass, Night Sorrow waved his hand. All of you are good. Let's be brothers in the future. After sending the soldiers off, Night Sorrow closed the formation and returned to the commander's office. Your Highness, it's over. This is a great victory. Not only did we take over Tianhu Pass, but we also subdued 3 generals. In addition, almost an entire army of soldiers is willing to follow your Highness, Summer City said with a smile. That's right. We've earned a lot this time. Night Sorrow was also very satisfied with his gains this time. Let's go. After sending the captives away, there was one less unstable factor in Tianhu Pass. Those who were willing to stay had already been reorganized. Night Sorrow called Nu Lin to the commander's office. I plan to return to 9-story building. As for the attack on the Red Empire, stabilize it first. If they dare to enter the dark abyss in the west, we'll fight them back. Your Highness, Your Highness. Calm, brothers, we can't be short on supplies. If there's a war that requires the activation of the Heaven Sealing Formation or the Heaven Sealing Formation, let me know, Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin. Don't worry, Commander. We have a teleportation formation that leads directly to the 9-story tower. If anything happens, we will be there in a moment. Nu Lin nodded. Lin S. Lin Tessa A's of Ava S. When they arrived at 9-story building, Night Sorrow surveyed the environment again. He then decided to divide the area to the west of 9-story building into a base for the 9 Heavens Army. It would be a place for training and living. 9-story building was also known as 9-story Sky Palace. It occupied a large area, several times the size of Green Qilin Palace and Green Phoenix Palace. Building a base for the army would not be a problem. It would also not affect Night Sorrow's daily life. Night Sorrow arrived at the Ministry of Works. In the Ministry of Works, Night Sorrow saw Lin Hui, who was making some estimates. Your Highness, you're here. I've estimated that the construction of Heaven Tiger Pass Impregnable Pass within the Heaven Sealing Great Formation will take half a year. The other construction can be done slowly. Lin Hui stood up and bowed to Yishang. Thank you for your hard work. Also, I plan to build a base for the army on the west side of 9-story building. The 9 Heavens Army has never had a base, Night Sorrow said. That will affect your Highness' living environment in 9-story building. Your Highness, you can apply for a base from the military, Lin Hui said. There's no need to go through so much trouble. When the Ministry of Works has time, just send someone to deal with the training grounds and living quarters. The main thing is that I'm still new to the dynasty, so I can't find any craftsmen, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Your Highness, you're being too serious. Normal craftsmen can deal with the training grounds and living quarters. The ones working in Tianhu Pass are top-notch craftsmen. There are still many beginner craftsmen who are free. I'll arrange it later. Lin Hui was touched by Night Sorrow's words. His Highness Night Sorrow was indeed a new member of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. All right then. When I'm done, I'll treat you to a drink. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. After leaving the Ministry of Works, Night Sorrow casually walked to the Azure Sky Pavilion. He stood at the entrance and thought for a while. Night Sorrow bowed and left. Master, why didn't you let junior brother in? Zhan Tan asked Qing Emperor, who was resting with his eyes closed. Why would I let him in? He didn't want to come in. He just walked in, Qing Emperor said. Yes, he walked in with his head down. Zhan Tan thought for a while. Knight Sorrow's situation was exactly as Qing Emperor said. After returning to 9-story building, Knight Sorrow drank tea and chatted with his family. You can't do anything with a low cultivation base. You have to work hard, Red Shirt said. There were too many experts involved in the battle. Red Shirt and Lanning could not help much. The spatial treasure pagoda is right there. You can cultivate whenever you want, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. At this time, 7 absolutes, Qi Wang and Gale came to express their gratitude to Knight Sorrow. Thanks to Knight Sorrow's efforts, the impact of this battle on them was minimized. It's not a big deal. Those brothers who are willing to follow you can form an army and reorganize. Under my command, you'll be the same as the other troops. There will be no distinction. If no one is willing to fight against the Crimson Emperor Kingdom, then we'll fight against the Dark Abyss in the future, Yishan said. Thank you, Commander. There is another thing that you must be careful about. The Red Emperor's nation has issued a kill order for you. Killing you will allow you to go to the Red Emperor's palace to receive 1,000,000 merit points. This is very tempting for many cultivators, 7 absolutes said. Looks like the Red Emperor's nation hates me now. Otherwise, they would not pay such a high price to kill me. Knight Sorrow understood that he had incurred the wrath of others because he had taken down Sky Tiger Pass. Yes. Sky Tiger Pass is one of the faces of the Red Emperor's nation. This time, Commander, the Red Emperor will definitely not tolerate this. Thus, some actions will follow. 7 absolutes nodded. In fact, the matter happened immediately. Fei Xiu had captured someone. The person was planning to sneak into 9-story building, but Fei Xiu happened to catch him. Your Highness, it is someone from the Red Emperor's nation. After finding out that the Red Emperor's nation is offering a high bounty, he became tempted. While he was investigating, I caught him, Fei Xiu reported. I have thought about it. Looks like our mansion is really heavily guarded. Reality proved that the situation was indeed serious. I will bring my men to patrol every day, 7 absolutes said. In the future, his world would be loyal to Knight Sorrow because the oath said that he would recognize Knight Sorrow as his master. Of course, Knight Sorrow respecting him was another matter. Chapter 1174. Then the Qing Emperor's guards brought a person into the main hall of the Zhochong building. After taking a look, Knight Sorrow asked someone to take him away. He knew that Fei Xiu would deal with him properly. In addition, such a person, no matter how he was dealt with, would be too much. If he wanted to earn merits and kill people, then he had to be aware that he would be killed if he failed. As for the safety of the Zhochong building, Knight Sorrow was also more assured, because there were many masters in the Zhochong building, and there were many monarchs. Summer City, Fei Xiu, 7 Jades, Qi Wang and Gale were all monarchs. Unless it was a large army, they couldn't take down the Zhochong building. The Qing Emperor also knew that the Red Emperor's country had issued a kill order to Knight Sorrow, but he didn't ask. He was not worried about Summer City and the strength of the Zhochong building. He calculated that in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, besides him, the strongest one was Knight Sorrow. Even Qing Lin and Qing Wan couldn't compare with him, and the other princes were not even on the same level. In the dark abyss, in a hall full of piles of white bones, a woman in a black dress and a veil sat on the main seat. This woman was the most famous and the strongest woman in the world of Samsara, the Dark Master, Datura Datura. After listening to the report, Datura Datura's fingers tapped, Tianhu Pass changed hands. I really didn't expect that the Qing Emperor's dynasty would be strong again. It is said that the Qing Emperor's dynasty got a practitioner with merits in the Zhoxiao World Group. I went down to investigate and collected the information here. It can be said that this person is currently a key figure in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. His status is far beyond the other princes. Even the most outstanding children of the Qing Emperor, Qing Lin and Qing Yuan, can't compare with him. The reporting man handed over a piece of information. Taking the information, Datura's slender fingers flipped through it. As Datura watched, the others waited quietly, not even daring to breathe. This is where the Qing Emperor is stronger than the Red Emperor and the others. He is broad-minded, and a 100-year-old king with 2 high-level attributes is also worthy of his attention. Looks like the Red Emperor is 1 step slower, so he is destined to be at a disadvantage in some things. Rowan, it is recorded here that he has a female peak Saint King with the death attribute by his side. I want this person. After thinking of a way, bring her back. Datura waved her arm and threw the information to the black-robed man, Rowan. The person she was talking about was Zhu Jiuyun. This subordinate will do it right away, Rowan said with a bow. It will be difficult, but we can't give up. Also, send out the army. Heaven Tiger Pass is at the intersection of our 3 forces. If the Red Emperor's kingdom can't defend it, then we will attack it. They have just conquered Heaven Tiger Pass and it is not stable yet. Although we can't take it down by force, we will attack from the surroundings and not give them a chance to lie down in the pass, Datura said and then left. The world of reincarnation was a supreme world, and there were many top forces. However, there were only 3 in the eastern region, the Qing Emperor's kingdom, the Red Emperor's kingdom, and the Dark Abyss. The 3 top forces fought each other all year round. After the Dark Dominator left, the officials in the hall began to discuss and finally decided to send out the Devil Blood Army. Devil Blood, we can't take down Heaven Tiger Pass directly. It will waste a lot of our forces. You can surround Heaven Tiger Pass and attack the Qing Emperor's kingdom's territory. This way, the 9 Heavens Army will have to go out. If they go out, Heaven Tiger Pass will be empty, Rowan said to another black-robed man. Devil Blood understands. Once they are empty, our Devil Blood Army's Shadow Army will charge in. The man with blood-red tattoos on his face nodded. Then go. If you need any support, let us know. Our Abyss Hall will support you. Rowan nodded to Devil Blood. Knight Sorrow didn't have much to do every day. He just walked back and forth between 9 Heavens Tower and Heaven Tiger Pass. If he had time, he would watch the 9 Heavens Army train. The 9 Heavens Army's individual combat strength was unquestionable. Now, they were strengthening their joint attack formation. This was what Knight Sorrow had requested. In addition, the Black Tiger Army was also officially established. The army's commander was the 7 Invincible. They were equipped with the black meteoric iron armor issued by the military. Currently, all the soldiers were strengthening their joint attack formation. Currently, the 9 Heavens Army had 5 armies. Their combat strength was far superior to the Lin Yuan Army. Knight Sorrow also took some time to study the Heaven Sealing Formation and Heaven Locking Formation. He had the formation disc in his hand, so he could control the formation. Knight Sorrow planned to engrave the Heaven Sealing Formation and Heaven Locking Formation in his mind and make them part of his formation Tao. Most, Newbie * Chapter. Part 1. Knight Sorrow's life was very fulfilling. However, the Qing Emperor's dynasty was a bit chaotic. The Dark Abyss had once again launched an attack. This time, they were attacking the borders of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. After the military received the news, they informed Knight Sorrow to go to the Qing Emperor's palace for a meeting. When Knight Sorrow arrived, the military officials were all present. Green Lin and Green Yuan were also present. Tan Lin took out a map of the Qing Emperor's dynasty and marked the location of the attack on the Qing Emperor's dynasty. This time, the attack is from the Dark Abyss's elite army, the Devil Blood Army. Their goal is unknown, Tan Lin said after explaining the situation. They are targeting the Heaven Tiger Pass. Of course, such a tactic won't be able to take down the Heaven Tiger Pass. However, if the 9 Heavens Army wants to fight, they will have to leave the Heaven Tiger Pass. This will cause the Heaven Tiger Pass to be empty. Or perhaps, they have some hidden cards. When they feel empty, they can take down the Heaven Tiger Pass, Night Sorrow said after looking at the attack area. If necessary, the Lin Wan army can fight, Green Lin stood out and said. For now, I will see how to deal with this. If necessary, I will ask. Night Sorrow looked at Green Lin and nodded. The situation is tense now. The Qing Emperor's dynasty can't keep being attacked. Therefore, we need to deal with this. The battle is in the Nine Heavens Army's area. Your Highness Night Sorrow, please come down and deal with it. We will cooperate with you if you need anything, Tan Lin said. After Night Sorrow returned to the 9 heavenly floors, he took some information and went to the Heaven Tiger Pass. He gathered all the army commanders and commanders in the commander's office. Originally, this should be our time to rest. However, the battle report doesn't give us the time. The Dark Abyss has moved. They are attacking these areas. Night Sorrow took out a map and circled it. They are surrounding the Heaven Tiger Pass. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to move us out of the Heaven Tiger Pass? Nu Lin looked at the map and frowned. Dark Abyss understands. We've just taken over Heaven Tiger Pass, and our foundation isn't stable yet. We can't just watch our territory get invaded, so we're doing this. However, since we've declared war, we have to fight. Now, everyone, let's discuss our battle strategy, Yishan said. We are not afraid of war. We will only show our importance if there is a war. Our brothers also need military merits. However, the prerequisite is that the Heaven Tiger Pass must be stable, Nu Lin said. That's right. Now, we are seeing the Dark Abyss start a war. When the Red Emperor's dynasty receives the news, they will not let us stay idle. Therefore, a difficult time has come. Night Sorrow looked at the group of people in the commander's office and emphasized the difficulty. Here is the second update. Chapter 1175. Nu Lin and the others stood up. Commander, please assign the tasks. Right now, we have to stabilize the situation. That is to say, we have 5 armies now. 2 armies must be stationed in Heaven Tiger Pass to guard against the Crimson Emperor Empire's attack. The other 3 armies must use their superior numbers to kill the small groups from the Dark Abyss. The key to strategy is to be flexible. After killing a group of enemies, retreat immediately. We must not linger in battle, Yishan said. The others nodded because Night Sorrow's train of thought was correct. Then I will assign the tasks. Thunder Army and Ding Xiang Army will guard Heaven Tiger Pass for now. The Nu Lin Army, and Ping Army, and Black Tiger Army will follow me to battle, Night Sorrow said. Yes, Commander. Nu Lin and the others bowed. Then we can only wait. Qin Leitang was a little anxious. Heaven Tiger Pass is very important. We must not lose it. Once we lose it, we will not be able to get it back. Of course, the 2 Heaven Lock Formation and Heaven Lock Formation are not places they can easily break in. However, we must be prepared. Wait for the Nu Lin Army and an Ping Army to rest before you go to battle, Night Sorrow said to Qin Leitang and Wei Wei. Qin Leitang and Wei Wei nodded. Wei Wei is impatient. Leiting, please be careful. The Nu Lin Army, and Ping Army, and Black Tiger Army are to gather. We will depart in an hour, Night Sorrow reminded Qin Leitang. I will assign a Qing Emperor's Guard team to follow your highness. Fei Xiu was a little worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Then assign a team. 9-story tower will leave 2 teams. With the city guards and the Imperial Army, safety should not be a problem. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and nodded. Fei Xiu returned, and the other armies started to gather. When Fei Xiu brought the men over, Redcoat and Lanning followed. The God-slaying team wanted to follow, but I did not agree. They are not bad now, but they are still too weak. They need time to grow. I also agreed to let them go out to train, Fei Xiu reported to Night Sorrow. That's what they should do. They should leave as well. The 9-story tower still lacks a monarch to hold the fort. Knight Sorrow was a little worried. Now that the Red Emperor's empire had issued a kill order for him, many rogue cultivators would come for him. Don't worry, Your Highness. In our Qing Emperor's city, monarch-level cultivators must be registered. If they don't, they will be killed if they walk around the Qing Emperor's dynasty. This is an iron law. Therefore, monarch-level cultivators won't come looking for trouble. If a high-level king comes looking for trouble in our Nine-Chong Tower, then the Qing Emperor's guards and the Imperial City guards will kill them, said Summer City. Then I'm at ease. We'll start fighting in a moment. I want to see just how powerful the Dark Abyss Demon Blood Legion is. If they dare to come, we'll kill them back. Knight Sorrow's body was brimming with battle intent. A moment later, Nu Lin, and Ning, 7 Absolutes, Qi Wang, and Strong Wind all came back and reported that they had gathered their men. Knight Sorrow nodded and brought his men to the martial arts practice field. The battle at Sky Tiger Pass was the first battle I led everyone to. Now that another battle has come, as people of the Imperial City, we're not afraid of battle. No matter who comes to invade our territory, we'll fight back. What are they? In my eyes, they can be described in 2 words, opponents and merits. They are opponents that must be killed and merits that must be earned. I, Knight Sorrow, will fight with everyone, Knight Sorrow said to the soldiers in the martial arts practice field. Knight Sorrow's reply was the sound of armor being knocked on. Black Tiger Army, you've just joined, but in my eyes, you're all equal. You have to earn merits and make a name for yourself to show others. Knight Sorrow then looked at the Black Tiger Army and said. Knight Sorrow's reply was a wave of weapons. Then, Knight Sorrow brought a group of people to the Heaven Lock spell. In a moment, after I open the array, those with Monarch's cultivation will quickly attack and capture people from all directions. I don't believe that there aren't any spies here. Kill all the spies. After taking out the array disc, Yi Shang reminded the monarchs behind him. After the Heaven Lock spell was opened, Fei Xiu, Nu Lin, and Ning, 7 Absolutes, Qi Wang, Strong Wind, and the others rushed out to carry out Knight Sorrow's orders. However, Summer City didn't move because he had to stay close to Knight Sorrow to protect him. Standing in front of Sky Tiger Pass, the 3 armies didn't move and waited for news. A moment later, Fei Xiu and Ning came back with 2 unconscious men. Nu Lin and 7 Absolutes also came back. Commander, I didn't do it well. I accidentally killed him, Nu Lin said embarrassedly. Me too. He was too fragile. 7 Absolute's face was a little red. What's there to be embarrassed about? I said kill them all. I don't plan on keeping them alive. There's also nothing to interrogate. Just kill them directly. Let's go. Knight Sorrow activated the army command order. His body flashed and flew. He already had a target area in mind. Knight Sorrow's men killed all the spies. However, Devil Blood also knew that the 9 Heavens army was going out. Most of the spies were clones. Their main bodies were in the Devil Blood army's headquarters. The news was immediately reported to Devil Blood. The 9 Heavens army has 4 armies. I wonder how many of them came out. Devil Blood thought as he wiped his battle blade. The spies knew that the 9 Heavens army was going out. However, they were captured and killed before they had a chance to investigate. Yi Shan led the team and used 4 hours to arrive at the place where the Demon Blood Legion's soldiers were fighting. Then, they directly surrounded and killed the Demon Blood Legion. In the time it took to brew a cup of tea, the Dark Soldiers were eliminated. Quickly clean up the battlefield and move on to the next area. Knight Sorrow gave the order. Equals original release. Knight Sorrow then led the team to the next area. The Devil Blood army was very strong. However, the battlefront was too long. If they wanted to surround and kill everyone near the Heaven Tiger Pass, their forces would not be concentrated enough. Now, Knight Sorrow was leading 3 armies and killing small groups. After 2 armies were eliminated in a row, Devil Blood knew that the situation was not good. To be able to kill them so quickly, Night Sorrow must have led a very strong army. Devil Blood ordered the troops to gather and then surrounded Night Sorrow's area. Night Sorrow did not delay. After eliminating 2 armies, he did not continue fighting. He quickly moved in a semicircle and flew toward another point on the map. Night Sorrow knew that Devil Blood would definitely receive the news and would definitely mobilize people to kill the Nine Heavens army. Compared to the Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Red Emperor's empire, the Dark Abyss' greatest advantage was that they had more dark creatures. Normally, the Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Red Emperor's empire would have 4 armies and 4 armies. However, the Dark Abyss was not like that. The Dark Abyss army had 10 armies and 4 armies each. In other words, the Dark Abyss army had twice the number of soldiers compared to the Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Red Emperor's empire. Therefore, Night Sorrow would not fight them head-on. He could only use mobile warfare to deal with them. Devil Blood led a large group of people to the place where they were attacked. Seeing the ground full of corpses, Devil Blood ordered the people to search around. But at this moment, Night Sorrow had already made his move against another army. Chapter 1176. Yi Shang brought his men and rushed to a place that was further away from the battlefield just now. Only then did he start to eat the Demon Blood army. This time, the 3 armies surrounded and killed the 2 armies of the Demon Blood army. Although it took some time, the angry Qilin army and the other 2 armies did not suffer any casualties. Clean up the battlefield. Brothers, hold on for a while longer. This is our chance to destroy them. After 2 more battles, let's find a place to rest and drink, Night Sorrow said. Yes. Responding to Night Sorrow's deafening roar, the soldiers were very excited. Other than the battle at Tianhu Pass, Night Sorrow led them to fight battles that did not consume any resources. The main thing was that during the battle, Night Sorrow charged at the front with Sky Splitter, fighting to the death like normal soldiers. What was this? This was taking the lead. Everyone knew that Night Sorrow did not need to earn military merits by killing enemies. As the commander of the army, he would earn some military merits every time he fought a battle. What he was doing now was purely to live and die with his brothers. Following which, Night Sorrow led his men to continue attacking the scattered members of the Devil Blood Legion. After fighting for half a day, Night Sorrow led his men to a secluded valley to rest. Commander, the battle results are brilliant. Today, we defeated 6 armies of the Demon Blood army, which is equivalent to eliminating half of their army. The Demon Blood army must be feeling the pain right now, angry Qilin said to Night Sorrow, who was looking at the map. We still have to fight like this, but it won't be as easy as today. No one is a fool. The Demon Blood army will not give us the chance to divide and destroy them so easily. Next, it will be an information war. Whoever can obtain useful information will be able to expand their advantage, Night Sorrow said. Commander, if we fight like this, it will hurt them. What if they gather their forces and advance towards the Qing Emperor's dynasty? Anning asked worriedly. Let them be. We won't be able to defeat them if they band together. Even if we can, we won't fight them. We'll lose too much if we do that. They'll continue to push forward. We'll go to the Dark Abyss and destroy their cities one by one. They'll definitely come after us. Their army won't dare to venture too deep into the Qing Emperor's territory, Night Sorrow said as he closed the map. The commander is right. They don't know that the Nine Heavens Legion is fighting alone. If they go too deep and our empire's legions surround the Devil Blood Legion, will they be able to withstand it? Once we attack their city, they will definitely come back to help. Besides, their target this time is the Nine Heaven Army and the Sky Tiger Pass. They won't go too deep into the Qing Emperor's territory, Nu Lin said. Night Sorrow nodded as well. Nu Lin's opinion was the same as his. The Demon Blood Legion would not fight inside the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Their goal would be to take over the Heaven Tiger Pass. The Devil Blood Legion was furious. They didn't expect that they would suffer such a huge loss so soon after the battle started. One of their legions was defeated by Night Sorrow. Since they were at a disadvantage, they had to change their tactics. The Devil Blood Legion redistributed their forces. That was to have two legions move together. The distance between the two legions wasn't too big. This way, they would have time to support each other during the battle. Night Sorrow brought his men to repair the base. He thought for a while and decided to scout first before attacking. Nu Lin went to arrange this. The Nu Lin army had trained spies. They were of the dark element and were good at hiding and scouting. The ones that went out were clones that didn't have much combat power. However, they were extremely fast and wouldn't be discovered easily. After a wave of spies went out, Night Sorrow continued to look at the map. Nu Lin, and Ning, 7 Jades, look here. This is the Dark Abyss Blackwater town. If we attack this place and wipe it out, their men will definitely come back to help. This will disrupt their rhythm. We can cut off a small part of their tail. That's a good idea. And Ning agreed. Nu Lin also nodded. The Devil Blood Legion came out to fight because they have military orders. That's why they are anxious to achieve something. We are different. Right now, no one is pressuring us, so we can play with them. We will use this Blackwater town as the center and fight them. When their entire army comes back, we will leave. When they leave, we will come back. When they move back and forth, there will be a difference in time and a loophole will appear. That will be our chance, Night Sorrow said. That's right. If we make them run around, we will have a chance, Nu Lin said as he knocked on the table. Slow down. My teacup. Night Sorrow glared at Nu Lin. Soon, the spies returned and reported the Devil Blood Legion's situation. With two legions moving together, we really can't take them down. Nu Lin, let the spies lead the way. We will go through the gaps between their legions and take down their Blackwater town, Night Sorrow said as he rolled up the map. Then, the Nine Heavens Legion moved. Night Sorrow combined the information from the spies and chose a path to take. Within the Azure Sky Pavilion, the Qing Emperor was brewing tea. He drank it while listening to the military officials' reports. Xian Daozi's face was bitter as he drank the tea made by sandalwood. In the past, he felt that drinking tea was a form of life. Now, he felt that drinking tea was a form of torture. Night Sorrow is in a difficult situation. The Devil Blood Legion is very strong. They have 10 legions. In addition, Night Sorrow has to defend Heaven Tiger Pass. It's difficult. Hearing Tan Lin's report, the Qing Emperor shook his head. Should we send the Lin 1 Legion out? Tan Lin asked. Not for now. Let's see the situation first. Although the pressure is great, this emperor feels that he might be able to handle it. The Qing Emperor shook his head. The enemy has 3 times the soldiers of the Nine Heavens Legion. On top of that, the Nine Heavens Legion has to defend Heaven Tiger Pass and the pressure from the Red Emperor's empire. The situation is not very optimistic. Tan Lin was a bit worried. Don't worry. Night Sorrow is not as weak as you think. Defeating the strong is also his ability. If there is any news, report it. The Qing Emperor waved his hand and had Tan Lin leave. The pressure is great. Can this be done? Xian Daozi asked. This could be a crisis for the Qing Emperor's empire. It could also be an opportunity for us to show our might. Secret guards, go and collect all the information, the Qing Emperor said. Yes. A reply came from the shadows of the Qing Emperor's palace. Qing Lin and Qing Wan were drinking tea in the Qing Lin palace, discussing the current situation. This could be Night Sorrow's moment of humiliation. To be honest, I don't want to see the Nine Heavens Legion suffer such heavy losses, Qing Lin said. Night Sorrow deserves to die, but the Qing Emperor's empire is ours. Qing Lin is right. Father is here, and the Qing Emperor's empire can't be controlled by others. But right now, we don't have orders from the military, so we can't send troops. If we lose, we can only blame it on Knight Soro's bad luck, Qing Wan said. We can only wait. Maybe when the Nine Heavens Legion suffers heavy losses, then we can attack, Qing Lin said, spinning the teacup in his hand. Don't worry. Even if the Nine Heavens Legion suffers heavy losses, it won't shake the foundation of the Qing Emperor's empire, Qing Wan said. Chapter 1177. Knight Saro didn't know what was going on outside. After leading the Nine Heavens Legion through a gap in the Devil Blood Legion's formation, they began a long journey. Their target was the Dark Abyss Blackwater town. It was also a defensive town. After nearly a day, the Nine Heavens Legion arrived at the outskirts of Blackwater town. After we enter, Nu Lin, bring people to destroy the teleportation formation immediately to prevent reinforcements and the Devil Blood Legion from returning. Then clean up. Remember, don't touch the old, weak, sick, or disabled, Knight Saro said. How will the Devil Blood Legion return? They are currently pressing towards the dynasty's border. Tranquility said. Then can't they return quickly? For example, I have a soul crystal in Thunderlord's hand. If he shatters it now, I can immediately set up a teleportation formation and insert the crystal in Sky Tiger Pass teleportation formation. Then, we can return quickly. Of course, I don't know if others will do this, but we have to be careful, Knight Saro said to Tranquility. Don't ask in the future. Just fight according to the commander's orders. Nu Lin glared at Tranquility. However, he was very impressed. Knight Saro had calculated everything in his mind. Brothers, it's time to fight. Knight Saro waved Samsara and gave the order. Blackwater town was an important defensive town, but after the Devil Blood Legion's 10 legions entered the fray, the town's defenses had slackened. No one would have thought that someone would attack, so they lacked an effective defense. After a short while, the Nine Heavens Legion had broken through. Tigers and wolves. The soldiers of the Nine Heavens Legion, who couldn't fight the Devil Blood Legion head-on, were filled with pent-up anger. Now that they had a place to vent, they directly attacked the Dark Abyss soldiers in Blackwater town. Knight Saro charged at the front with Splitter. Summer City didn't attack. He just followed. He disdained to participate in this kind of battle. He just had to be careful not to have experts suddenly appear to ambush Knight Saro. Nu Lin charged towards the teleportation formation. Qi Wang, who didn't bring an army, followed behind him. The two of them didn't fight. The combat strength of the three armies far exceeded that of Blackwater town. Very quickly, they reached the town's headquarters, which was the commander's office. And Ning, bring some people to collect the resources. Qi Wang, bring a group of people to clean up. I don't want to see the enemy's shadow within 100 miles. The rest of you, continue to push in all directions. We'll meet here in 2 hours. Knight Saro ordered. Blackwater town was an important military town. The nearest reinforcements from the Dark Abyss would not be able to arrive within 4 hours. After giving the order, Knight Saro went to the plaza in front of the commander's office and started setting up the formation. Your Highness, do we still have a chance to trick them? Summer City asked as she looked at Knight Saro. Yes, if everything goes well, we'll be able to achieve great results, Knight Saro said as he set up a formation. 2 hours later, Knight Saro finished setting up a combination of illusory and killing arrays. In the middle of the illusion array, Knight Saro also set up a teleportation array without a teleportation crystal. At this time, all the soldiers had returned to the plaza in front of the town's headquarters. Knight Saro asked everyone to go to the area where he set up the formation. Then, he activated the formation and hid everyone. Your Highness, what other plans do we have? Nu Lin asked excitedly. If their reinforcements are weak, then we'll eat them. If not, then we'll wait. We're safe in the illusory array. Even if there's a heavenly adept level array that can detect us, I can still activate the killing array. They won't be able to charge in. There's also a teleportation array here. We can fight and leave as we wish, Night Sorrow said as he took a sip of wine from the wine jar. Then I'll send out the spies to see if there are any reinforcements from Blackwater Town. The number of reinforcements and the interval between them. Then, the commander will estimate if we can fight. Nu Lin looked at Night Sorrow and said. Sure. Send the spies further away. It'll take 2 hours. Report the number of reinforcements if you see any and we'll decide if we should attack. Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin. He knew that the Nine Heavens Army had their own training system for spies. They were powerful and accurate in delivering information. There was no problem with their safety. They were clones that did not have much combat power and were good at hiding. Nu Lin nodded and arranged for the spies. Night Sorrow sent them out of the illusion array. Great. It's so great to fight with the commander, Anning said while smiling. Indeed. I feel my blood boiling. Nu Lin nodded. It's because of our brother's support that the war went so smoothly. As long as we can successfully bring them back from Dynasty's borders, we'll have succeeded. In the future, we can fight however we want. They have to follow our wishes, said Yishan. That's right. Watch for free/permanent/free unspecified currency p#. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow told everyone to sit down and rest. They had to be in peak condition for the upcoming war. 4 hours later, the spies sent back news that the Devil Blood Army's 2 armies were approaching Blackwater Town from the direction Night Sorrow and the others had come from. There were no other armies following them. 2 hours later, the 2 armies arrived. Night Sorrow took a deep breath. Nu Lin, take a small team and follow me. Kill everyone who sees us. After telling everyone to stay put, Night Sorrow left the illusion array. He rushed to the entrance of Blackwater Town and started setting up the array with spiritual stones. This time, Night Sorrow was setting up the Death Lock array. It was based on the research of the Heaven Lock array. Nu Lin took people and killed all the Dark Abyss troops around to prevent the news from leaking out. Knowing that Night Sorrow was using the cutting strategy in Heaven Tiger Pass, Summer City knew what Night Sorrow was going to do. Your Highness, you plan to trap and kill a portion of them and then use the 3 armies of the Nine Heavens Army to kill them all? That's right. In a head-on battle, our 3 armies can kill 2 of the enemy's armies, but there will be a lot of casualties. If we use the array to trap around half of their forces, then the Nu Lin Army, and Ping Army, and Black Tiger Army will not be under much pressure. We can take them down with the smallest price, Night Sorrow said as he set up the array. Time. Night Sorrow was racing against time. He had to finish setting up the array before the enemy arrived. The requirements were very high. A high-level array that could trap a monarch was not easy to set up. Night Sorrow had used up a lot of energy to set up the illusion array. However, he could only hold on. He had to hold on. This was a chance to deal a heavy blow to the Devil Blood Army. Summer City was very excited because this was too ruthless. If they succeeded, then the Devil Blood Army would lose 3 armies to Night Sorrow. That was equivalent to losing 1/3 of their forces. According to the Qing Emperor's dynasty, that was equivalent to losing an entire army. Night Sorrow used up a lot of energy to set up the array. After close to 2 hours, Night Sorrow finished setting up the array. The spy also received a new message. In the time it took to brew a cup of tea, the Devil Blood Army would arrive. Uncle Summer, I'll leave the activation of the array to you. As long as around half of their forces enter the array, you need to insert 2 Holy Spirit stones into the array I set up. Then, with a long whistle, I will open the illusion array and bring people over, Night Sorrow said to Summer City. Rest assured, Your Highness. I will do it well. Summer City nodded vigorously at Night Sorrow. Chapter 1178. Night Sorrow returned to the illusionary killing array. After announcing the battle preparations, he began to wait. Commander, what's the situation now? Seven Ju, who was standing behind Night Sorrow, asked. Wait. We might have a chance to take down 2 of the enemy's armies. Night Sorrow tightened and loosened his grip on Lai Kong as he waited for Summer City's news. Commander, you're not joking, right? Tranquility also came to Night Sorrow's side. No. You'll know in a while. Brothers, the battle is about to begin. Everyone, be careful. When we drink, we can't lose any of our brothers, Night Sorrow said to the soldiers behind him. General Tranquility, our young master never jokes. Lan Ning glared at Tranquility. Why are you so fierce? Be careful, or you won't be able to get married, Tranquility muttered. None of your business. Lan Ning retorted angrily. Don't quarrel. The crucial moment has arrived. Night Sorrow was a little excited. If they could take down 2 of the Devil Blood Legion's armies, the situation of the war would change. The Devil Blood Legion's advantage wouldn't be so great, and the war wouldn't be so difficult. The 9 Heavens Legion wouldn't be surrounded by the Devil Blood Legion. Tranquility and 7 Ju were both waiting. They knew that Night Sorrow might have made some arrangements. Nu Lin had led his men to kill all the Dark Abyss warriors around the Great Formation. Then, he had been guarding it in the dark. The main reason was that he didn't want anyone to report to the 2 armies of the Demon Blood Legion so that they wouldn't enter the formation. Summer City stared at the array. He knew that this was Night Sorrow's chance. It was the 9 Heavens Legion's chance. If they could win this battle, the 9 Heavens Legion would have a chance to defeat the Devil Blood Legion. Then, Night Sorrow's position and prestige in the Qing Emperor's dynasty would be unshakable. Even Sandalwood didn't have such a battle record back then. L+P The 2 armies of the Devil Blood Legion were advancing rapidly. Devil Blood's order was to reach Blackwater Town as soon as possible. Even if they couldn't contend against Night Sorrow's army, they had to bite down on Night Sorrow's troops and buy time for the reinforcements to arrive. Seeing that the 2 armies of the Devil Blood Legion had entered the formation, the vanguard troops had already left the formation. Before the reinforcements entered the formation, Summer City threw 2 Holy Spirit stones that were infused with energy into the formation. With the 2 Saint Spirit stones in Summer City's hand, the Deathlock Array was activated. Wind and thunder rose from the ground. As the energy surged, a soldier of the Devil Blood Legion was enveloped by the formation. Seeing that the array formation had successfully trapped the Devil Blood army, Summer City let out a long howl. Night Sorrow waved his left hand and threw out a few Holy Spirit stones to stop the illusion array. He then shouted to the people behind him and led them towards the killing array. When Yi Shang and the others arrived, Nu Lin and his team were besieged. Seeing that Night Sorrow's formation was effective, Nu Lin didn't wait for Night Sorrow and the others to arrive and attacked. As a result, there were still many people who weren't trapped by the formation. They directly surrounded their small team. Brothers, kill. Let's end this quickly. Night Sorrow waved Splitter and charged towards Nu Lin's small team. The Angry Qilin Army, the Calm Peace Army, and the Black Tiger Army were well trained and had a joint attack formation. How could they compare to the Devil Blood Army, which had been thrown into disarray by the formation? In a little more than 15 minutes, the Devil Blood Legion that weren't trapped by the formation were all killed. There were no prisoners at all. Get ready. I will open the formation and kill the people inside. Then, we will have a great achievement, Night Sorrow said as he looked at his blood-stained battle robe. During this period of time, Night Sorrow had consumed a lot of energy. During the battle, he didn't use energy to protect himself. Your Highness, you can just command the battle. Don't charge, Summer City said worriedly. Actually, it wasn't that he was worried. It was that he felt sorry for Night Sorrow. Brothers, you are all fighting with your lives on the line. As long as I am alive, I will fight alongside you all, Night Sorrow said as he turned around to look at the blood-stained 9 Heavens Army soldiers. Summer City nodded and didn't say anything else. This was Night Sorrow's insistence. Seeing that everyone was ready, Night Sorrow opened the killing array and began the second round of slaughter. The soldiers of the 9 Heavens Legion were all ferocious. Although they had expended a bit of energy, they could make up for it with their joint attack formation. Hunting down the Devil Blood Legion that was in disarray wasn't difficult at all. The main reason was that the Nine Heavens Legion had more generals. Generals played a crucial role in this kind of battle. 1 hour later, the Nine Heavens Legion led by Yi Shang had destroyed this army as well. Give everyone half a cup of tea's time. Clean up the battlefield and then gather. Knight Sorrow gave the order. At the same time, he fell into deep thought. After thinking for a while, Knight Sorrow waved his hand at Nu Lin. Commander, what are your orders? Nu Lin shook off the blood on his halberd and walked over. Today, I won't play by the rules. Send scouts to continue scouting, Knight Sorrow said to Nu Lin. His eyes were filled with killing intent. After 2 battles, Knight Sorrow's fighting spirit was at its peak. Yes. Nu Lin's eyes lit up. He didn't think that Knight Sorrow wouldn't take everyone away. He still had the courage to fight. This was what he wanted to see. Everyone, gather at your previous position. 7 absolutes, you take a small team and clean up the surroundings, as well as the area around the plaza. I don't want any information to leak out and delay the battle. Yi Sorrow gave 7 absolutes instructions. 7 took the order and went to work. Knight Sorrow brought everyone back to the illusion area in the center of the town. He activated the array again and installed the teleportation crystal. Now, those who are heavily injured, teleport back to recover. And Ping Jun, teleport back and pass on my order to Qin Lei Tang. Thunder Army, teleport back quickly, Knight Sorrow ordered tranquility. After the previous battle, Knight Sorrow realized that Ping Jun's fighting strength was slightly weaker than the Nu Lin army. The Black Tiger army was made up of the elites of the Sky Tiger Pass army. Their fighting strength was also shocking, surpassing Ping Jun's. Soon, other than Summer City, everyone else returned. Nu Lin and 7 also returned. However, the 2 small teams they led were still outside the array. Commander, it's done. Nu Lin and 7 bowed to Knight Sorrow. Distribute resources to everyone. Recover as soon as possible. There may be more battles, Knight Sorrow said to the 2. Nu Lin and 7 nodded and turned to make arrangements. Knight Sorrow also sat cross-legged and cultivated. And Ping Jun left and the Thunder Army moved in. The rotation of the military forces was carried out in an orderly manner. Mo Shui was infuriated. 2 armies had been devoured in less than 2 hours. He didn't understand where Yi Shang had gotten so much military power, because it was impossible for Yi Shang to not guard Heaven Tiger Pass. Right now, his Devil Blood Legion was still rather far from Blackwater Town. Men, order the 2 armies closest to Blackwater Town to move towards Blackwater Town as fast as possible. The other armies will surround the route. Dark Feather, you take 2 armies. You take the Shadow Army to Sky Tiger Pass and see if there is an opportunity to attack. Even if there isn't, hide well and block their route. Mo Shui issued a series of orders. Chapter 1179. After Qin Lei Tang arrived, he waited on the side with the Thunder Army. And Ping had already told him about the battle, and he was very excited. Now, it was time for the Thunder Army to go out. When Ping arrived at Heaven Tiger Pass, he saw the officials of the Empire. Right now, too many people were worried about this battle. Tan Lin had been waiting for news at Heaven Tiger Pass. General Ping, what is the situation? Tan Lin asked anxiously. Commander Tan, normally, only the commander can write a military report and report it. However, since you are here, I will give you a summary. The Nine Heavens Legion has been victorious. In less than 3 days, they have already defeated more than 3 armies of the Devil Blood Legion, Tranquility said as he wiped the blood off his armor with a towel. You are saying that you have already defeated 3 armies of the Devil Blood Army? In other words, you have eliminated 1/3 of their strength? Close to one of our regular armies? Tan Lin's face was full of shock. Who can joke about this military news? The commander and the others will probably be back soon. At that time, the commander will write a military report and talk to the commander. Just wait here, Enping said. This is really making me anxious. The Thunder Army has also gone out. When will it be our Ding Xiang Army's turn? Wei Wei paced back and forth in the commander's office. He was very anxious. Wei Wei, why didn't you and the Thunder Army go out? The commander must have considered the importance of Heaven Tiger Pass and didn't dare to leave all his tired troops at Heaven Tiger Pass. You have to understand, Enping said. I understand. I support and obey unconditionally, but my heart has already flown with the commander, Wei Wei said as he knocked on his armor. Don't let your heart fly with the commander. I have been waiting for you for millions of years, Enping said bitterly. Go and die. Wei Wei glared at Enping. Night Sorrow brought people to recover at full speed because he felt that there would be more armies coming. When Night Sorrow stood up, Nu Lin came to report that the scouts had found 2 more armies coming. 2 more armies. It seems that they are really giving us a chance. How far are they? Night Sorrow looked at Nu Lin and asked. This time, the scout is further away. He will be here in 3 hours, Nu Lin reported to Night Sorrow. Let's get to work. Nu Lin, take some men and move the corpses of the Demon Blood Army into the town to create an illusion. Don't let the enemy see through the range of the formation. General Lei Ting, take a leader and follow me to the other entrance of Blackwater Town to set up the formation. After we finish off these 2 armies, we can fight our way back to the mansion and rest. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he left the camp. Qin Leitang brought the Massacre God's domain and followed Night Sorrow out of the illusion array area. Blackwater Town was an important defensive town in the Dark Abyss. There were only 2 entrances into the town. One was the south entrance that Night Sorrow came from, and the other was the north entrance. Night Sorrow felt that the Demon Blood Army would know that he had set up the formation. They might change their route and enter from another direction. Since he had set up the formation here as well, no matter which direction they came from, they would fall into the pit. The consumption of war is huge. When we return, we still need resources. I have used up a few thousand Saint Spirit stones, Night Sorrow muttered as he set up the formation. In order to set up a king rank formation, the spirit stones needed to be Saint Spirit stones. High-grade and supreme-grade spirit stones would not have the same effect. Your Highness, if we can kill the enemy, what's the big deal about using up some Saint Spirit stones? This is all included in the consumption of war. If the army needs to use it, the dynasty will reward them as well. Fei Xiu, who was protecting Night Sorrow, said with a smile. He felt that Night Sorrow was sometimes a bit of a miser and was reluctant to part with Saint Spirit stones. He knew that the Qing Emperor had directly rewarded Night Sorrow with 30,000 Saint Spirit stones. In 2 hours, Night Sorrow finished setting up the formation. At the same time, he told Qin Leitang to bring people to guard this place and not let unrelated people enter or alert the Demon Blood Army. He also told Qin Leitang to only let the enemy enter the 9 activation formation. After taking care of everything, Night Sorrow went to the south entrance of Blackwater Town. Summer City and Nu Lin led a group of people to watch this place. Commander, the fake battlefield has been set up. It will give them a false impression. Now, we just have to see how they enter, Nu Lin said as he arrived beside Night Sorrow. I have also set up a formation at the north entrance. They have 2 armies. As long as one of them jumps into the formation, it will not be a problem to kill them. After this battle, we really have to leave. The main force of the Demon Blood Army should not be far away. If we continue to fight, we will not be able to defeat them. Night Sorrow took out 3 jars of wine. He gave one to Summer City, one to Nu Lin, and opened one for himself. The Demon Blood Army is a very famous commander in the Dark Abyss. They have just come out, and their army is already crippled. I think they will have a good time, Nu Lin said. Then we can't do anything about it. If we can successfully take down 2 of their armies, they will only have about 4.5 armies left. They will not be a threat to us. We will go back and rest. When we are in good shape, we will come out and play with them again, Night Sorrow said with a smile. They have no choice but to meet an opponent like you, Your Highness, Summer City said. He felt sad for the Demon Blood Army. In the Qing Emperor's dynasty, there were many people who could lead armies into battle. However, Night Sorrow was the only one who could play battle tactics so well. Qing Lin and Qing Huang could fight, but that was only because of their strength and manpower. In the past, the eastern district of the world of reincarnation was constantly at war. Large numbers of people died. Every army had to recruit new blood every year. No one was like Night Sorrow, who did not care about the casualties in war. It was natural for people to die in war. The Empire would not care about the deaths. Commander, after we win this time, you can go back and report to His Majesty. We can ask for an expansion of the army. This kind of war is exhausting. The Empire has reserves to replenish the soldiers. We can build 2 more armies. Who will we be afraid of then? Nu Lin said. Yes, Pine Garden City has trained people. It is not a problem to build 1 or 2 armies at any time. However, the Empire does not approve the construction of armies easily, Summer City said. At this moment, a figure flashed. A messenger had arrived. Commander, General Wei Wei sent a subordinate to deliver a message. An army has appeared in the direction of the Red Emperor's country. They are coming for the Sky Tiger Pass. There are also enemy troops in the other direction of the Sky Tiger Pass. However, they are not attacking. They are surrounding the Sky Tiger Pass. The army is from the Dark Abyss, the messenger said. Understood. Go back and tell General Wei Wei and General Anping to stay calm. We will be back soon. Just ignore them. Even if they attack, it will not be effective in a short time, Night Sorrow ordered the messenger. VV Chapter Sway Hashtag, the bastards from the Red Emperor's country are really fast, Nu Lin cursed. He knew that Night Sorrow's strategy was good. He had dealt a heavy blow to the Demon Blood Army. Otherwise, the situation would be bad. Although the Sky Tiger Pass was a pass, they still had to fight. If they let the enemy attack, they would not be able to hold on. Don't worry. I want to see what Chihuahua can do. Let the spies continue to report how far the enemy is, Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin. Second update. Chapter 1180. Commander, I am tailing their troops. They will arrive in 15 minutes. I can feel that these 2 troops are stronger. They should be elites, said the spy standing beside Nu Lin. This spy was a doppelganger that had gone out to investigate. His real body was reporting the situation. Alright, let's see how they're going to enter Blackwater Town. As long as one of them can enter the formation, we won't have too many casualties. If they can't enter the formation, then there's nothing we can do. We'll have to fight to the death. Night Sorrow said. Commander, don't worry. We are prepared for a bloody battle. Nu Lin nodded. Within Heaven Tiger Pass, Ning and Wei Wei had a clear division of labor. Each of them was responsible for one side. Wei Wei brought the Ding Xiang army to the defensive stronghold of the Heaven Sealing Formation to monitor the movements of the Red Emperor's army. Ning brought the recovered Anping army to the stronghold enveloped by the Heaven Sealing Formation to monitor the movements of the Devil Blood Legion. Tan Lin, who was ignored, returned to the Qing Emperor's palace and went to the Azure Sky Pavilion. Xian Daozi came out and took him inside. What's the situation like right now? Qing Emperor asked Xian Daozi. The situation is surprisingly smooth. It's a great victory. His Highness Night Sorrow led the army to battle and killed 3 troops of the Devil Blood Legion as well as 2 groups of people, said Tan Lin as he bowed. How is the 9 Heavens army? If you've consumed too much, then send the troops from Pine Garden City to replenish it. Qing Emperor stood up and said. I don't know if His Highness Knight Sorrow needs more men, but the Nine Heavens army is currently unharmed, Tan Lin reported. You're saying that the Nine Heavens Legion wiped out 3.5 armies of the Devil Blood Legion, and they're still unharmed? Sandalwood was a bit agitated, and the kettle in her hands spilled water all over the table. More #Nuzonist, yes, although the soldiers were very tired and heavily injured, this subordinate did not see many corpses. Tan Lin nodded at Jean Tan. He knew that the soldiers of the Nine Heavens army were all old brothers of Jean Tan. Beautiful. You killed 3 armies without any damage. That's a real commander. Qing Emperor praised. Your Majesty, right now, His Highness Knight Sorrow is still facing many difficulties. Even though he has destroyed most of the Devil Blood Legion's forces, the Devil Blood Legion still has 6 full legions. In addition, the Red Emperor's kingdom has also sent troops. Right now, they are already at Heaven Tiger Pass. The Devil Blood Legion's army has also arrived at Heaven Tiger Pass. That is why I have come back to report this. Tan Lin was still worried. Did Knight Sorrow send you to report? Qing Emperor asked. No, I didn't see His Highness Knight Sorrow. I heard that he was fighting with the soldiers. I was just worried about him, Tan Lin said. Does he know about this situation? Qing Emperor narrowed his eyes and thought for a while before asking. I know. The messenger has already reported it. Tan Lin nodded. Then we don't need to worry about it. Gather the soldiers of Pine Yuan City. Use 2 armaments. Also, find out more information. Qing Emperor waved his hand and dismissed Tan Lin. Tan Lin laughed. However, the smile on his face soon disappeared. Xian Daozi pointed at the teapot on the table and criticized it again. Knight Sorrow was a bit nervous because the rout of the 2 armies of the Devil Blood Legion would determine how much the Nine Heavens Legion would suffer. Although people would die in war, Knight Sorrow really didn't want to lose the soldiers of the Nine Heavens Legion. After that, New Lin spies reported that the 2 armies of the Devil Blood Legion had split up. One army was heading towards the North Gate while the other was heading towards the South Gate. Hearing this, Knight Sorrow's eyes lit up. This meant that their chances were much higher because every army would have to face a hidden formation. Sometimes, luck was needed in war. When the Devil Blood Legion entered from the South Gate and noticed the battlefield, the commander of the Devil Blood Legion shouted, "Don't get close to the battlefield. Go around it after entering the town." However, the battlefield was fake. After they entered the town, they entered the range of the formation. Summer City immediately activated the formation. Knight Sorrow quickly flew back into the illusion formation and opened it. He then ordered the New Lin Legion to attack the Devil Blood Legion at the South Gate. More than half of the Devil Blood Legion's soldiers were trapped by the formation. At this moment, Wu Jia came to report that the formation at the North Gate had taken effect. He asked Knight Sorrow to send troops to surround and kill it. Good. Thunder Legion, follow Wu Jia to rendezvous with your sovereign. Begin the slaughter. Black Tiger Legion, go to the South Gate to assist the New Lin Legion. Knight Sorrow gave the order. After giving the order, Knight Sorrow didn't know which direction to go. Both formations had taken effect. Both sides were stable. Commander, we won again this time. Summer City, who was by Knight Sorrow's side, said with a smile. He knew that luck played a role, but Knight Sorrow's plan was also crucial. Without Knight Sorrow's strategy, luck would have been useless. Damn it. Let's march as fast as we can and surround Blackwater Town. Mo Shui, who was still hurrying along the road, roared angrily. When he heard that his subordinates had been attacked again, he wanted nothing more than to rush to Blackwater Town immediately. However, he still needed 2 hours to get there. Mo Shui hoped that the 2 armies that were currently under attack could hold on and delay Yi Shang and the others. The 3 armies that he led were completely capable of wiping out the exhausted Nine Heavens Legion. However, Devil Blood didn't have the time. Knight Sorrow arrived at the South Gate. Seeing that the battle at the south gate was coming to an end, he opened the Killing Lock formation and started a massacre. He then led his men to the north gate and combined the three armies to eliminate the Devil Blood Legion trapped by the formation. Clean up the battlefield in 10 minutes. Then, we will return to Heaven Tiger Pass to celebrate. Knight Sorrow wiped his chin. It was a bloodstain because he had been fighting all this time. After cleaning up the battlefield, Knight Sorrow and the others returned to the plaza in front of Blackwater Town. Report. The Devil Blood Legion's 3 armies are still 10 minutes away from here. Commander, please retreat quickly, the scout beside Rage Cheelin reported. Your scouting mission is complete. Your clones won't be able to meet up with us in time. Going to Heaven Tiger Pass is also not feasible. All the scouts' clones will return to the Empire and go to Heaven Tiger Pass from the 9-layer pavilion. Thank you for your hard work. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands towards the scout. He then activated the illusory killing formation and ordered the troops to teleport to Heaven Tiger Pass. At this moment, Knight Sorrow wasn't in a hurry. So what if the Devil Blood Legion's 3 armies arrived? With the killing formation blocking them, the 9 Heavens Legion could easily retreat. The 9 Heavens Legion quickly teleported back to the Heaven Tiger Pass. When only the Thunder Legion remained, Mo Shui led his men to the town square and began attacking the Deathtrap array. At this moment, Qin Leitang came to Knight Sorrow's side and said, Commander, please leave first. I will send men of sacrifice to cover the rear. No one needs to stay behind. I will set up a spirit explosion formation. After we leave, this place will be destroyed. They won't be able to do anything. Hurry up and leave. Knight Sorrow shook his head at Qin Leitang. Then, I will leave first. Qin Leitang led his men to the teleportation formation. Outside Heaven Tiger Pass teleportation formation, Tan Lin was anxiously pacing around. All the soldiers had returned, but Knight Sorrow's commander was nowhere to be seen. What if something happened? He had just received news that Knight Sorrow and the others had destroyed 2 more armies. However, the Devil Blood Legion's 3 armies had also arrived. Chapter 1181. At this time, Knight Sorrow and Summer City appeared on the teleportation array. After appearing, Knight Sorrow did not look at anyone. His eyes were fixed on the teleportation array. When he noticed that one of the teleportation crystals on the teleportation array had been destroyed, he relaxed. The effect of the spirit explosion array was good. It would destroy all the teleportation crystals on the teleportation array. Angry Lin Army, go stand guard in front of the Sealing Heaven formation. Dingxiang Army, withdraw. Gather in front of the Sealing Heaven formation and prepare for battle. After 15 minutes, the Thunderbolt Army, Dingxiang Army, Black Tiger Army, and Anping Army will follow me to battle. Yi Shang turned around and gave another order. Hearing Knight Sorrow's order, everyone was stunned. They did not know where Knight Sorrow was going to attack. The original version, everyone is very tired. I can understand. However, this is the best opportunity. The Devil Blood Legion still has 5 armies left. 3 of them are in the distant Blackwater town, and 2 of them are right below our Heaven Tiger Pass. Should we eat? Knight Sorrow looked at the confused soldiers and asked loudly. Eat. What answered Knight Sorrow was an angry roar. Send out resources to replenish our cultivation. Recover at all costs. Knight Sorrow instructed Angry Lin and Anping, who were in charge of managing the resources, before sitting down to recover. Tan Lin's body was trembling. He was a little scared. What kind of commander was this? What kind of soldier was this? The commander had arranged the strategy and tactics to the extreme. The exhausted soldiers were still in high spirits. A quarter of an hour later, everyone stood up. It was already night. The night wind was blowing, but everyone's backs were straight. I hope that everyone can survive. I hope that every battle will be a battle without losses. This is my dream. However, sometimes there is a gap between dreams and reality. This is helpless. In the next battle, everyone must take care of yourselves and the brothers by your side. Every brother has a family, and they can't fall. Using their arms, shoulders, and bodies to exchange for the lives of their brothers is worth it. Brothers, don't be afraid. As long as we have brothers, we don't have to worry about what's behind us. We can charge forward with an indomitable will. You will see me, Night Sorrow, on the way forward. Night Sorrow said as he pointed his void splitter at the sky. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, the soldiers pounded their chest armor again and again because they couldn't find words to describe their feelings. They wore the same battle suits and had the same ideals. They were fellow soldiers. Night Sorrow was talking about the feelings between fellow soldiers. Night Sorrow brought his men to the Heaven Lock Matrix. He activated the Heaven Lock Matrix and opened the gate of Heaven Tiger Pass. At this time, four torrents appeared behind him and entered the darkness. Then, there was the sound of weapons clashing and blood spraying in the night. Hong Yi, Lan Ning, beat the drums and cheer. Night Sorrow's body flashed and he joined the battle. He killed the two shadow armies of the Devil Blood Legion. The darkness could only affect ordinary people. This was a battle where the weakest cultivator was a saint. It had no effect at all. Tan Lin ran back to report because he hoped that the Qing Emperor would be able to witness such a battle. Hong Yi and Lan Ning beat the drums on the left and right of Heaven Tiger Pass. Hong Yi was singing the song, Comrades Love, amidst the drumming. Chiyue Wui. Together with my son. King Yu, repair my spear and spear. Together with my son. Chiyue Wui. Together with my son. King Yu, repair my spear and halberd. Together with my son. Chiyue Wui. Together with my son. King Yu, repair my armor and weapons. Together with my son. The Qing Emperor appeared with Xian Daozi and Zhan Tan. There were also some officials. Qing Lin and Qing Wan were also there. They were originally in the military. When the Qing Emperor came, he brought them with him. There were no roars or shouts in the darkness. There was only the sound of weapons clashing. Both sides seemed to have a tacit understanding. They clenched their teeth and killed. Either you die or I die. The battle lasted for 2 hours before it ended. Night Sorrow carried the heavily injured Achio and returned to Heaven Tiger Pass with the other soldiers of the Nine Heavens Legion. After bowing slightly to the Qing Emperor, Night Sorrow looked behind him. And Ning, none of them escaped. They all died in battle. This is worthy of respect. Go and bury them. Erect a monument. Call it the Thousand Heroes' Grave. Treat the heavily injured Thunder General. Place the corpses of the dead in the martial arts arena. Hong Yi helped Achio to the side. At this time, everyone saw that Night Sorrow's body was also covered in wounds. His battle robes were torn and stained with blood. Master, I won, but I'm not in a good mood. Night Sorrow looked at the Qing Emperor and said. I understand. You guys go and recuperate. I'll wait for you in the commander's office. The Qing Emperor was also touched. He also understood why his children couldn't do what Night Sorrow could do. After counting the number of people, Night Sorrow felt a little bitter. This was because the Nine Heavens Legion had lost 1,000 people. Although it was a small number, Night Sorrow felt very bad. Because in the first 2 hours, they were all alive. Men, bring wine. Send my brothers off. Night Sorrow roared. Qing Lin, Qing Wan, do you understand where the difference is? In the commander's office, the Qing Emperor looked at Qing Lin and Qing Wan. We understand. Both Qing Lin and Qing Wan bowed. Back then, you guys couldn't compare to Sandalwood. What you lacked was cultivation and vigor. Sandalwood fought every battle. Today, Night Sorrow was the same. You guys saw it with your own eyes. You didn't have enough ideals and didn't understand your fellow soldiers well enough. If you didn't understand, you would never reach Night Sorrow's level. Tomorrow, as the sun rises, Knight Sorrow's name will be known throughout the world. Father hopes to hear such a person's name one day. The Qing Emperor looked at Qing Lin and Qing Wan and said. Knight Sorrow stood on the training ground and looked at the 1,000 corpses. He felt a little emotional. He knew this was war, but he couldn't accept it. The Qing Emperor brought people over. It's the fate of soldiers to die on the battlefield. The Qing Emperor's dynasty will take care of everything. Knight Sorrow turned around and bowed to the Qing Emperor. He then nodded to Nu Lin. Inform their families to come and see them one last time. Then bury them and erect a tombstone. 1,000 blazed tombstone. Yes. Nu Lin nodded. And Ping, the dynasty's funeral arrangements are the dynasty's business. There are some things that the brothers of the Nine Heavens Army will do for them. Give some resources to their families. If there are children or old people who need to be taken care of, the Nine Heavens Army will provide for them. Also, send orders to build an area in the Nine Heavens Tower to provide for the descendants of our fallen brothers. Knight Sorrow gave an order to Ping. The Qing Emperor and Xian Daozi both nodded. They knew that Knight Sorrow's arrangements would make the Nine Heavens Army more cohesive. The Qing Emperor left because there was nothing for him to do here. Knight Sorrow made the necessary arrangements. The Qing Emperor brought people to the military department. Tan Lin, you heard Knight Sorrow's words. The military department will cooperate with these matters. Reward the Nine Heavens Army with 200,000 Saint Crystals and a military base. The land beside the Nine Heavens Tower will be requisitioned and given to the Nine Heavens Army. In addition, from today onwards, all the armies of the Empire will be under the command of Commander Knight Sorrow. The Qing Emperor gave an order. Fourth update. Chapter 1182. Qing Lin and Qing Wan bowed. Knight Sorrow's power could not be suppressed, and they could not suppress him anymore. They had to obey the Emperor's orders. Don't be unconvinced. You have to admit defeat. The children of the Qing Emperor can afford to lose. The Qing Emperor looked at Qing Lin and Qing Wan. I will apologize to Knight Sorrow face to face. Qing Lin bowed. Qing Wan also expressed her attitude. Knight Sorrow's achievements and ability were beyond their reach. Since the Qing Emperor supported Knight Sorrow's ascension, they had to obey and assist him. The world was shocked. The Nine Heavens Legion had paid the price of 1 soldier to destroy 7 legions of the Devil Blood Legion. This was a battle record that no one could help but admire. In the dark abyss, Datura sat in the main seat in the White Bone Hall, playing with a black jade in his hand. After a moment of silence, Datura raised his head and looked at Devil Blood. Devil Blood, tell me what happened. This subordinate was careless and was schemed against by Knight Sorrow. Before this subordinate could react, the legion was crippled. Devil Blood knelt on one knee and said, hand the remaining 3 legions to the Bloodthirsty Legion and go receive your punishment. Datura coldly snorted. Devil Blood bowed and left. He knew that Datura was already being merciful by not taking his life on the spot. Ruler, according to the records, Knight Sorrow is adept at fighting and commanding battles. His ability to command is extremely high. Rowan bowed and said, that's why I didn't take Devil Blood's life. Bloodthirsty, do you dare to accept this mission? Datura looked at a man. He was the commander of another legion, the Bloodthirsty Legion. This subordinate accepts. I will definitely make the Dark Abyss famous. Bloodthirsty stepped forward and said, good. I have a few words of advice for you. Knight Sorrow was able to take down Heaven Tiger Pass and cripple the Devil Blood Legion in 3 days. In terms of strategy and tactics, ordinary people would find it hard to compare to him. Right now, your greatest advantage is that you have a lot of soldiers. Use brute force to fight. That is, fight head-on. Don't give him a chance to use his strategy, Datura instructed Shishue. Shishue bowed and left. He knew that he had to be careful. Mo Shui had been defeated, and he couldn't follow in his footsteps. The Red Emperor's troops outside the Heaven Tiger Pass had retreated far away. Qi Hua had already received the news that the Devil Blood Legion's 7 legions had been wiped out by Night Sorrow. He only brought 4 legions with him and didn't dare to get too close to the Heaven Tiger Pass. He was worried that Night Sorrow would devour them. Night Sorrow calmed down for 2 days, and only then did his mood improve because he still had to fight. Qing Lin and Qing Wan also went to the Heaven Tiger Pass to visit Night Sorrow. Now that Night Sorrow was the #1 commander of the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Qing Lin and Qing Wan had to listen to his orders. The 3 of them sat in the commander's office. Qing Lin and Qing Wan expressed their apologies. They could think it through. If they couldn't win, then they had to admit it. Also, when they saw Night Sorrow lead the troops to battle, they were wholeheartedly convinced. This time, the Dark Abyss has been hurt. They won't take this lying down. They will definitely send a large army forward. Therefore, the pressure on your side will be great, Night Sorrow said to the 2. We're not afraid. If they dare to come, then we dare to fight. However, if they send out a regular legion, 10 legions, the pressure will be greater, Qing Lin said. The Qing Wan Legion was different from the 9 Heavens Legion. The 9 Heavens Legion had Heaven Tiger Pass to defend it, but the Qing Wan Legion couldn't. Send word to the messengers at any time. If they come to fight, we'll see how it goes, Night Sorrow said. Qing Lin and Qing Wan nodded and left the commander's office. When Night Sorrow sent them out, Qing Wan hesitated for a moment and bowed to Night Sorrow. Previously, I was not magnanimous enough to target you. I'm sorry. It's nothing. Let bygones be bygones. Night Sorrow shook his head. After Qing Lin and Qing Wan left, Night Sorrow went to a few more barracks to take a look before teleporting to the 9 heavenly floors. At this time, the officials of the Qing Emperor's palace also arrived and announced the latest appointment of the Qing Emperor. Night Sorrow was appointed as the Imperial Army's Judushi. In other words, other than Night Sorrow's 9 Heavens Legion, he also controlled the Lin Wan Legion. Night Sorrow took the token to the Azure Sky Pavilion. He didn't want to take this job. He didn't want to control anyone. He just wanted to do his own thing. Xian Daozi led Night Sorrow into the Azure Sky Pavilion. I knew you would come. Sit down and drink some tea. Let's see how good your senior brother's tea is. The Qing Emperor pointed to the praying mat next to Sandalwood. After taking a sip of Sandalwood's tea, Night Sorrow smiled. The water is too rushed. It's too rough. Let me do it. Sandalwood pouted. He really wasn't good at this. As Night Sorrow brewed the tea, the Qing Emperor asked, You don't want to be the army's Judushi? Yes, I just want to do my own thing. Night Sorrow nodded as he brewed the tea. Ask Qing Lin and Qing Wan if they want to do it. Back then, even your senior brother didn't reach this position. The Qing Emperor said. Harmony in the empire is very important. Although I don't really like Qing Lin and Qing Wan, I don't want them to be estranged. It's enough for everyone to do their own thing. Night Sorrow expressed his opinion. You have the ability to reduce the empire's casualties. Is this reason enough? The Qing Emperor said. If Master says so, then I have no choice but to accept. Night Sorrow nodded. Even if you didn't come, I would have told you to come. The bloodthirsty legion of the Dark Abyss has already received orders to go to war. This is a huge test for the Empire's army. In many years, the Dark Abyss has never been as crazy as this. The last time they fought like this, I had no choice but to send the Qing Emperor's guard to deal with it. The Qing Emperor said. Sending another legion to war. I don't think they'll give me a chance to use my strategy. After suffering a loss, they'll definitely gather and fight us head-on. However, under such circumstances, no matter how we use our military power, it's not enough. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. That's right, we don't have enough military power. What do you think? The Qing Emperor asked. Look at Chapter 1 of the original version. The enemy has 10 legions each. Including the 3 remaining legions of the Devil's Blood Legion, they have 13 legions. Our 9 Heavens Legion has 5 legions and the Lin 1 Legion has 6 legions. If we fight them head-on, we might be able to take them down, but the price we'll pay will be very heavy. Our Qing Emperor's dynasty is different from the Dark Abyss. The Dark Abyss has a lot of dark warriors, but we can't afford to lose them. If we increase our military power, then it won't be a problem to surround and intercept them. Knight Sorrow thought for a moment and said, Then I'll form 2 more legions for you. If it's still not enough, then the Qing Emperor's Imperial Guard will also be at your disposal. Just one request, you can't let the Dark Abyss wreak havoc in our Qing Emperor's dynasty. You have to be domineering. The Dark Abyss is such a big battle, but it's also a battle between me and Datura. The Qing Emperor said. Disciple understands. I'll handle this matter well. Since others have declared war, we naturally have to accept. In addition, Disciple also wants to know the situation of the Red Emperor's empire. Master, can you tell the intelligence department to send me a copy of the information on the Red Emperor's empire and the Dark Abyss? Knight Sorrow asked. Chapter 1183. Xian Daozi ordered the intelligence department to send a copy of the information to the Qing Emperor's palace as well as the 9 Stories Pavilion. Also, let the 2 reserve armies in Pine Yuan City report to the 9 Stories Pavilion. The Qing Emperor gave the order. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave, Knight Sorrow said as he stood up. Go back. Don't delay your own cultivation, the Qing Emperor nodded. After returning to the 9 Stories Pavilion, Knight Sorrow called for Jun Xuanji. Xuanji, the Dark Abyss and the Red Emperor's empire are attacking the Qing Emperor's empire. Information is crucial if we want to win this war. From today onwards, the Qing Emperor's empire's intelligence department will send the information they receive about the Red Emperor's empire and the Dark Abyss. You have to help me research it and send me useful reports. Don't worry, Commander. I'll do a good job, Jun Xuanji nodded. Commander, can I join the war? Ren Tianji asked Knight Sorrow. You can go if you want. You can tell your master and see what he says, Knight Sorrow nodded at Ren Tianji. Then, Knight Sorrow called for Gale and Qi Wang. What are your orders, Commander? Qi Wang and Gale bowed to Knight Sorrow after they arrived at the 9 Stories Pavilion's main hall. Later, the Empire's Pine Yuan City, which is the place where the soldiers are trained, will send 2 armies over. You 2 will receive them, Knight Sorrow said. Yes, Commander. Gale and Qi Wang bowed. Also, there's something I need to inform you too. The Black Tiger Army and the Red Emperor's empire are not going to war because they used to be comrades. The 2 armies you'll lead in the future are not included because we don't know when we'll be going to war with the Red Emperor's empire. I don't want the 2 new armies to be decorations when the time comes, Knight Sorrow said to Gale and Qi Wang. We understand. We serve the Commander-in-Chief. The past has nothing to do with us. We serve the Commander-in-Chief. Qi Wang and Blast nodded. Knight Sorrow nodded and let Fei Xiu lead the 2 of them to prepare to receive the troops sent by Pine Forest Garden. Hong Yi, Lan Ning, do you feel anything? Is your blood boiling? Knight Sorrow looked at Red Coat and Blue Shadow beside him and asked. No. In your eyes, women are always inferior to men. So, you didn't arrange anything for us to do, Hong Yi said with some dissatisfaction. You're thinking too much. Aren't you my personal guards now? Every time I go out to battle, I don't bring you guys along. By the way, I'll get you a token later. That way, you'll be rewarded for killing enemies. Knight Sorrow felt that he had been a little negligent. The Red Emperor's empire sent a message to Chiwa, telling him to be careful because Knight Sorrow's ability to lead troops into battle was too ferocious. Soon, the Pine Forest Garden City's commander-in-chief sent the 2 armies to 9 grand floors. Night Sorrow arrived at Sky Tiger Pass and mobilized 2 companies from the Thunder Army to guide the 2 armies sent by Pine Forest Garden in their joint attack formation. These 2 armies were also given names, the Swift Wind Army and the Qishan Army. Blast, Qi Wang, the 2 armies under your command don't have much time to train. Hurry up and integrate them. If you work harder now, you'll have a better chance of survival when the time comes, Night Sorrow said to Blast and Qi Wang. Blast and Qi Wang nodded. They knew that this was a critical period and they didn't have much time to train or rest. It would be good if they could get used to the joint attack formation as soon as possible and increase their survival ability. In addition, Night Sorrow ordered the 5 armies in Sky Tiger Pass to quickly reorganize. The battle a few days ago had consumed a lot of everyone's energy. That Night Sorrow was studying the joint attack formation when Green Qilin and Green Wan came. Night Sorrow had given the 9 Heavens Army the joint attack formation of 3 to 6 people. He was now studying the joint attack formation of 7 to 9 people. It wasn't difficult to cultivate it, but it needed to be powerful. This required some difficulty. Seeing the arrival of Green Qilin and Green Wan, Night Sorrow put away his brush and nodded to the 2. Commander Night Sorrow, the bloodthirsty army is about to arrive at the border. Their target is Fragrant Sky City. That used to be Green Wan's defense area. Now that they have 13 armies, I can't stop them, Green Wan said. Even if you can, you'll suffer heavy losses. They don't care, but we can't. So we have to make a choice in our battle strategy. How about this? Before they arrive, you guys should take the initiative to attack the Dark Abyss cities at the border. This way, they won't have the energy to cause trouble in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Night Sorrow said. That's a good idea. The previous battles were all small groups. We can fight head-on. This time, if we really can't, we'll follow Commander Night Sorrow's plan, Green Qilin stood up and said. Send out the fastest troops and leave as soon as the battle is over. Don't give the enemy a chance to surround us. Otherwise, we'll be annihilated. Also, send someone to send military reports to the 9 Heavens Tower every day. I'll use the battle strategy according to the situation, Night Sorrow said. Okay. Green Qilin and Green Wan cupped their hands at Night Sorrow and left the 9 Heavens Tower. Before they came, they were worried because the situation had never been so bad before. *Original / In terms of battle strategy, we're not as good as him. We could fight head-on in the previous battles. Now that the Dark Abyss is attacking, we really can't handle it, Green Wan said. That's right. The last time there was a crisis like this, it was Father's Qing Emperor's Guard who dealt with it. This time, we might not need the Qing Emperor's Guard. We have to acknowledge Night Sorrow's commanding ability. Green Qilin nodded. Night Sorrow cultivated every day. He cultivated battle skills and the Great Emperor Samsara / His Great Emperor Samsara / had already taken shape and was very powerful. It was even more powerful than all of Night Sorrow's battle skills. Moreover, it was a Saint King grade Great Emperor Samsara / because it had only fused 3 attributes at the level of laws. Jun Xuanji was very busy. The Qing Emperor's dynasty's intelligence network was very developed. There was a lot of information sent to him every day. Jun Xuanji summarized the information and reported it to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was not in a hurry. If the 9 Heavens Army did not move, the Bloodthirsty Legion would not dare to act rashly. Otherwise, they would easily suffer losses. The Bloodthirsty Legion chased after the Lin Wan Legion every day, planning to destroy the Lin Wan Legion that was harassing the border of the Dark Abyss. The Bloodthirsty Legion had 13 legions. Dan Bloodthirsty Legion only dared to split into 2 groups. The target was too obvious and could not be surrounded. Bloodthirsty Legion did not dare to split into more groups because they had not seen the 9 Heavens Army yet. The strongest force in the Qing Emperor's dynasty was the 9 Heavens Army. Now that the strongest 9 Heavens Army had not appeared, Bloodthirsty Legion was very worried that the 9 Heavens Army would jump out and deal a fatal blow to him. Seeing the report, the Qing emperor smiled and threw the battle report to Xian Daozi. See this? The Nine Heavens army did not come out, but the bloodthirsty legion did not dare to act rashly. They are very cautious. This is fear in their hearts. Xian Daozi looked at the battle report and said, that's enough deterrence. He won't dare to act recklessly. Knight Sorrow won't make a move, but if he does, he'll take his life. The Dark Abyss can't afford to lose. If the bloodthirsty legion is wiped out, they won't be able to play anymore. Chapter 1184. The Dark Abyss had 3 legions, the Fiend Blood Legion, the Bloodthirsty Legion, and the Devil Blood Legion. The Devil Blood Legion had already been destroyed. If the Bloodthirsty Legion was also destroyed, the strength of the Dark Abyss would plummet. This was something the Dark Dominator would not allow. Qing Lin and Qing Wan don't have such a strategy. They must have asked Knight Sorrow for advice. Only by working together can they survive this crisis. Qing Emperor nodded. However, Datura isn't the type to suffer losses. She probably won't tolerate this. Xian Daozi said. There's another possibility. Assassination. Shadow guards. Send a small team to the 9 grand floors. Xian Daozi, make a trip to the profound sky world and inform them. If anything happens, inform us immediately. Qing Emperor thought for a moment and nodded. He understood Datura very well. It wasn't Datura's character to keep quiet after suffering losses. Knight Sorrow waited for the Bloodthirsty Legion to split up. If they didn't split up, they wouldn't be able to do anything to the Lin Wan Legion. Knight Sorrow didn't believe that the Dark Abyss could continue to suffer losses. Knight Sorrow would check on the training of the troops every day, especially the newly joined Storm Legion and Mountain Legion. In addition, Knight Sorrow gave New Lin and Qin Leitang the newly developed combined attack formation for them to practice first. New Lin and Qin Leitang also wanted to see if there were any flaws. Qing Lin and Qing Wan's messengers also reported to Knight Sorrow every day. Knight Sorrow would look at the map and plan the attack route for the Lin Wan Legion to execute. This was to beat around the bush with the Bloodthirsty Legion. More than 10 days passed. The Bloodthirsty Legion was still the same. Seeing that the situation wasn't good enough, the Bloodthirsty Legion didn't split up. Knight Sorrow also sent out the Thunder Legion to attack according to his plan. He didn't believe that the Bloodthirsty Legion could hold on. Even if they could, he believed that the public opinion of the Dark Abyss would pressure them. On the 3rd day after the Thunder Army was mobilized, the Dark Abyss held a meeting in the White Bone Palace because the Dark Abyss was at an absolute disadvantage. After reading the battle report, Datura raised her head. No one could see the expression on her face under the veil, but Rowan and the others knew that Datura was on the verge of exploding with rage. Overlord, the Qing Emperor appointed Knight Sorrow as the Qing Emperor's Imperial Army Regional Commander. This means that the Green Qilin Army and the Green Phoenix Army are currently executing his strategy, Rowan said. He's a tough guy. The Qing Emperor has found a treasure. Shishue isn't his match either. Inform Shishue that we can't fight this war according to his pace. If we do, we will only lose. Tell Shishue to gather the army and head straight for Fragrant Sky City of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Once we take down Fragrant Sky City, we'll see if they can still hold on, Datura said. I'll inform them immediately, Rowan nodded. Tell the Law Hall to waive Demon Blood's punishment. This guy is hard to deal with. It's not Demon Blood's fault that the Demon Blood Legion lost. Also, inform Shishue to see if Fragrant Sky City is easy to take. If it's not, then use the same strategy as them and attack the borders of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Let's see who's mobilizing and who's running for their lives. Also, have Shishue report to us immediately if there's any battle report. Don't make any decisions on your own, Datura ordered. She understood Knight Sorrow's strategy. Knight Sorrow was drinking tea in the Nine Chong building when he heard Jun Xuanji's report. He was stunned for a moment. The enemy has also changed their commander. Shishua didn't use this strategy before. Pass down my orders to inform the Green Chilan army and the Green Phoenix army to leave some people behind to continue harassing the enemy. The main force is to return and hide 1,000 miles away from Fragrant Sky City. Also, inform the Swift Wind army to station at Heaven Tiger Pass and the Calm Peace army to guard Heaven Tiger Pass. The Thunder army is to return and prepare for battle. Your Highness, is the situation very serious? Summer City asked. Yes. Now that they've changed their strategy, we need to find a countermeasure. Night Sorrow nodded and walked towards the teleportation array. He knew that this was another crucial moment that would decide the outcome of the battle. Night Sorrow brought Summer City, Hong Yi, Lan Ning, and Qing Emperor's Guardian Squad to Fragrant Sky City. Greetings, Your Highness. Fragrant Sky City's mayor and garrison army's commander came to greet Night Sorrow. Original B version are release, bring me the map of Fragrant Sky City. Night Sorrow sat on the main seat in the mayor's mansion. Fragrant Sky City's mayor brought over the map of Fragrant Sky City. After looking at the map, Yishan raised his head and looked at the city lord and the garrison commander. I'm very sorry, but from the current situation, regardless of whether we win or lose, Fragrant Sky City will be damaged. Your Highness, please don't say that. If you have any orders, we'll immediately carry them out. Fragrant Sky City's mayor and garrison army's commander bowed. Order all non-combat personnel to evacuate. We'll temporarily give up on Fragrant Sky City. However, if the Bloodthirsty Legion wants to take it back, they'll have to pay a price. Night Sorrow ordered. Fragrant Sky City's mayor and garrison army's commander went to make the arrangements. It was difficult to evacuate personnel in an ordinary city, but not in Fragrant Sky City. Most of the people in Fragrant Sky City were family members of the garrison army. Your Highness, are you going to have a decisive battle with them here? Summer City asked. Decisive battle? No, I'm not going to have a decisive battle with anyone. Didn't they want to attack? It's worth it to use Fragrant Sky City to cut off their flesh. Behind us is Fragrant Jade City. Hong Yi, pass my order to Fragrant Jade City's troops to prepare to evacuate. Night Sorrow threw his token to Hong Yi. After leaving the mayor's mansion, Night Sorrow began to set up the array. Seeing Night Sorrow setting up the array, Summer City shook his head. He knew that the Bloodthirsty Legion was in trouble. Night Sorrow not only had a good sense of strategy, but he was also a Heavenly Array Master. Heavenly Array Masters were good at tricking people. Your Highness, you've used up a lot of Holy Spirit stones in this battle. Summer City, who was following Night Sorrow, saw Night Sorrow constantly throwing out Holy Spirit stones. Holy Spirit stones aren't as important as human lives. Moreover, the dynasty acknowledged this consumption and compensated me last time. By the way, Uncle Summer, why didn't you give me a reward for crippling the Devil Blood Legion? Night Sorrow asked while setting up the array. Didn't you get a reward? Only Your Highness can ask such a question. Go to the Merit Hall of Emperor Qing's palace and ask. How many merit points do you have now? After a battle, the number of merit points a legion's commander-in-chief and general can get is determined by the military department and approved by His Majesty himself. The Qing Emperor's palace has already recorded it for you. Summer City shook his head helplessly. Night Sorrow was an expert in many areas, but he was an idiot when it came to common sense. That's good. Don't make me work for nothing. Night Sorrow said while setting up the array. Your Highness, how big are you going to set up this array? Summer City asked when he saw Night Sorrow setting up the array around the inner wall of the city. They still need at least a day to reach here. I have enough time to set up a killing array and prepare a feast for them. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Seems like I have to be careful. You've tricked the Dark Abyss. It would be strange if they don't want to kill Your Highness. Summer City realized. Chapter 1185. It's not a personal grudge. It's a war. You don't need to assassinate me, right? Knight Sorrow said. Many things can't be reasoned with. Didn't the Crimson Emperor country place a bounty of 1,000,000 merit points on you? Xia Qing shook his head. He was a veteran of the world of reincarnation. He was very clear about some of the ways and means in the world of reincarnation. I don't care about that now. Let's deal with the Bloodthirsty Legion first. Knight Sorrow continued to set up the formation. Summer City followed Knight Sorrow. Fei Xiu and the Qing Emperor's Guardian Squad also followed. Sometimes, Hong Yi and Lanning would serve them tea. Knight Sorrow set up the formation in Tianxiang Town. He wanted to turn Tianxiang Town into the grave of the Bloodthirsty Legion. After spending a day to take care of the fragrant Sky Town, Yishang set up an illusion array inside and outside the town. Then, he mobilized his troops and hoarded them inside the town. Then, Knight Sorrow summoned Qing Lin, Qing Wan, and all the generals to Tianxiang City's City Lord Mansion. Commander, what do you plan to do next? Nu Lin asked. Qing Lin, Qing Wan, I'll take command from now on. Knight Sorrow looked at Qing Lin and Qing Wan. Commander Knight, just give the order. Qing Lin nodded. He could only follow orders now. If he didn't, he wouldn't be able to defeat the enemy. Qing Wan also cupped her hands to Knight Sorrow. Then I'll assign a task. We'll take down a part of the Bloodthirsty Legion in Tianxiang Town. This used to be Qing Wan's base. We, the Nine Heavens Legion, will not show up. Later, Qing Lin and Qing Wan, you two will fight them head-on. Let them know that we're going to defend. If they really attack, we'll fight them. Then, retreat into Tianxiang Town and wait for orders. Knight Sorrow ordered Qing Lin and Qing Wan. Qing Lin and Qing Wan nodded. Next up is the killing mission. There are two possibilities now. First, if they really charge in, then we will kill as many as they charge in. If they don't, then we will just drag it out. If they want to attack, they can't just leave the Heavenly Fragrance Town alone. They can't afford to lose face either. Moreover, our men and horses are in the illusory array. Knight Sorrow said. He had estimated that as long as Qing Lin and the Qinghuan army appeared, without seeing the Nine Heavens army, there was no way that the Crimson Blood army wouldn't give chase and take down the Sky Fragrance Town. The Dark Abyss had suffered too many losses recently. The Qilin army and the Thunder Legion had destroyed many of their defensive cities. They could not take this lying down. Knight Sorrow had set up several illusion arrays in the Heavenly Fragrance Town, as well as some individual trap and kill arrays. In other words, as long as the Bloodthirsty Legion entered the town, the Heavenly Fragrance Town would be isolated from the outside world. Of course, they could use the teleportation array, but Knight Sorrow wouldn't give them the opportunity to set up the teleportation array. After receiving Knight Sorrow's order, the Qilin army arrived at the north gate of the Heavenly Fragrance Town, waiting for the Bloodthirsty Legion to arrive and attack. Knight Sorrow was considering whether he should set up the array in the Fragrant Jade City, but he felt that it wasn't necessary for the time being. Perhaps the Bloodthirsty Legion would be able to decide whether to attack or not in the Heavenly Fragrance Town. Knight Sorrow used more than a day to set up the array, spending more than 10,000 Saint Spirit stones. At this time, the Bloodthirsty Legion had also arrived at the Heavenly Fragrance Town. Riding on the two-headed Dark Flood Dragon, Bloodthirsty Legion pointed his sword at Qing Lin, who was standing on top of the Heavenly Fragrance Town's defensive tower. You can't do it. Get Knight Sorrow out here. Hee, you talk big. But haven't you been the ones suffering losses recently? Qing Lin replied. Schemes and tricks. But from today onwards, I won't give you the chance to do so. I will crush you with force. Bloodthirsty Legion looked at Qing Lin and said. Recently, he had been very sullen because chasing after the Qilin army was exhausting. He couldn't predict the Qilin army's movements, so he couldn't surround and intercept them. Chapter 50, Section R of the original version, come. Let's see if I'm afraid of you. Brothers, prepare for battle. Qing Lin roared. Your Highness, I'm afraid the Qilin army will suffer some losses. Summer City, who was drinking tea with Night Sorrow, said. He could see that the Bloodthirsty Legion's soldiers were at a higher level than the Qilin army. There's no other way. If we retreat without fighting, the Bloodthirsty Legion won't send anyone to attack. If we don't take risks, we won't be able to catch the wolf. Besides, if we retreat as soon as we attack, even if there are losses, the losses won't be too great. Night Sorrow nodded. Qing Lin and Qing Yuan understood Night Sorrow and Summer City's point of view, but they didn't complain. This was their defensive zone. Night Sorrow was willing to help and shoulder the responsibility. This was already very generous of him. Moreover, this tactical arrangement was also the most suitable one. If the Nine Heavens army was here, the Bloodthirsty Legion would definitely be cautious. It was hard to say whether or not they would enter the Heavenly Fragrance Town. In the Azure Sky Pavilion, Qing Emperor was also reading the battle report. It seems like the Dark Abyss has changed their commander. Now, they're forcing the Qing Emperor's dynasty to fight them head-on. Qing Emperor said. This is the most shameless part of them. They think the Dark Abyss has more soldiers and can afford to exhaust them. Now, I don't know how Night Sorrow will deal with this problem. If they really fight head-on, our empire's army will suffer great losses. Xian Dozi said. What do you think, Sandalwood? Qing Emperor looked at Sandalwood. No matter who it is, as long as they look down on Junior Brother, they will suffer. I think Junior Brother can handle it. Sandalwood said. You have a lot of confidence in him. Actually, Master has confidence in him as well. Qing Emperor nodded. Qing Emperor wasn't too worried about a war like this, because it couldn't shake the Qing Emperor's dynasty. If the situation was too difficult to control, the Qing Emperor's guards would step in and solve the problem. However, the Qing Emperor's guards wouldn't step in unless it was absolutely necessary. They were the dynasty's trump card. The Bloodthirsty Legion didn't attack directly. Instead, he sent a messenger to the Dark Abyss, informing the Dark Ruler of the current situation, Datura. He believed that the Bloodthirsty Legion could defeat the Qilin Legion without suffering too many losses. After hearing the report, Datura thought for a moment. Tell the Bloodthirsty Legion to fight. But remember, don't split up. Gather the entire army and advance as one. Remember, don't fall into any traps. Be careful. After receiving the Dark Ruler's instructions, the Bloodthirsty Legion laughed. Charge in and crush them. At this moment, the three legions of the Bloodthirsty Legion charged towards Tianxiang town. Qilin Legion, kill them. Qing Lin also gave the order. He directly opened the defensive formation and led the legion to charge out. In the past, Qing Lin only commanded and didn't participate in the battle. He didn't care about participating in a war between legions. However, after seeing Night Sorrow's battle, he changed his mind. The Qingyuan Legion also charged out of Tianxiang town, wearing the Qingyuan armor. The two sides began to fight in front of Tianxiang town. Surround them from the left and right. Kill them all. The Bloodthirsty Legion once again gave the order. Not good. They have too many people. Let's retreat into Tianxiang town and defend. Qing Lin gave the order. Chapter 1186. Hearing the order, the Lin Yuan army quickly retreated. Qing Lin and Qing Yuan led their personal guards and retreated as well. It's too late to retreat now. Bite them and kill them all. Shishua waved his sword and gave the order. Qing Lin and Qing Yuan quickly retreated with their men. At the same time, they shouted for the Heavenly Fragrance Town to close the defensive formation. However, it was already too late, because the three armies of the Bloodthirsty Army and the Lin Yuan Army were fighting together. In addition, another army had also arrived. A large group of people rolled into the town. There are too many of them. It'll be difficult to deal with them. Let's take these 4 armies. Night Sorrow exited the illusion formation and appeared at the entrance of Tianxiang town in a flash. Shishue, why aren't you charging? Actually, the one I wanted to kill today was you. If you didn't come, Night Sorrow, will take these 4 armies. Night Sorrow waved his arm and activated the formation. A mist of energy filled the air and enveloped Tianxiang town. Then, Night Sorrow opened the illusion formation. The 9 Heavens army went out and began to slaughter the bloodthirsty army. At this time, the 11 armies of the Qing Emperor's imperial army were inside Tianxiang town. They were the absolute main force of the Qing Emperor's imperial army. Shishue's expression changed. He had been very careful, but he had still fallen into a trap. With a loud roar, Shishue led his men and began to attack the formation. If it was a while ago, Night Sorrow's formation skills wouldn't have been able to withstand such an attack. However, after studying the Heaven Sealing formation and Heaven Sealing formation, his formation skills had increased exponentially. He didn't expect to be able to stop the bloodthirsty army. As long as he could hold them off for 2 hours, it would be enough. 2 hours was enough. Shishue led his men and charged at the Heaven Sealing formation. They attacked continuously, constantly depleting the formation's energy. Night Sorrow was inside the formation, adjusting the formation's defenses. Wherever the formation's energy was about to run out, he would replenish it with Holy Spirit stones. At this time, the Darkness Sovereign also received the news. Idiot! Yuan Jinzi, you go. There's a heavenly formation master over there. Shishue can't do without a heavenly formation master. Also, tell Shishue that if he can't break through the formation within 2 hours, he's to retreat immediately. In 2 hours, 4 armies have been devoured. Night Sorrow, you're ruthless. Datura's slender fingers exerted force and the black jade stone in his hand shattered. Rowan and the others were shocked because that was the jade stone that Datura was extremely fond of. Now that it had been destroyed, it was clear how furious he was. Brothers, hurry up and kill them. The commander is still controlling the formation to resist the enemy. He's under great pressure. Shouted Nu Lin as he led the Nu Lin army to fight against the bloodthirsty army. 11 armies besieging 4 armies wasn't too much of a pressure. The problem was time. No one knew how long Night Sorrow's array could last. Night Sorrow was indeed under a lot of pressure. This was because the other party was attacking at a single point of the array formation. The array formation's self-recovery ability was not up to par, so he had to constantly reinforce it. Uncle Xia, what's the situation now? If this continues, I won't be able to hold on. Night Sorrow was under a lot of pressure because the bloodthirsty army was attacking too crazily. Soon, the battle will be over soon. Uncle Xia was also somewhat anxious. Now, they were fighting against time. If they had enough time, the battle would go smoothly. After a while, a few generals came to Night Sorrow's side. At this time, everyone's face was filled with excitement because the 4 armies of the bloodthirsty army had been defeated. Junior Brother Knight, we've completed the mission. Qing Wan shouted. After shouting, she was somewhat stunned because she hadn't called Night Sorrow that way for a long time. Then what are we waiting for? Run! I can't hold on any longer. Everyone, quickly teleport to Fragrant Jade City. Once you're done, inform me. Night Sorrow shouted behind him. Following that, a large number of people were teleported. Some people even set up more teleportation arrays to allow people to leave quickly. When most of the people were teleported, the Heaven Lock array that Night Sorrow had set up began to collapse. Night Sorrow brought Summer City, Fei Xiu, the Qing Emperor's guards, Hong Yi, and Lan Ning to the teleportation array. Night Sorrow dismantled the extra teleportation arrays. After he and the others entered the teleportation array, he set up the Spirit Explosion array and teleported to Fragrant Jade City. What happened to you? After arriving at Fragrant Jade City, Night Sorrow noticed that Qing Wan's shoulder was injured and her armor was cut open. When the enemy general was struggling, he was cut by my blade. It's not a big problem. Qing Wan looked at the wound and said. That's good. Arrange for the injured to rest in other cities. The Lin Wan army will continue to guard the city gate. Night Sorrow said. Your Highness, there's no defense here. If they come, we won't be able to hold on. Are we going to fight? Summer City asked. Fight? I don't believe they dare to charge in. If they dare to charge in, I'll write them a letter of admiration. Hong Yi, go find some fruits. I'll wait for them at the top of the city gate. Night Sorrow said to Hong Yi. Okay, I'll get it done right away. Hong Yi smiled and went to do it. After Night Sorrow arranged for the army to prepare for war, he went to the top of the city gate and sat on a deck chair, eating fruits and looking outside the city. Shishua broke through the array and entered Fragrant Sky Town. What he saw was a massacre. The ground was littered with the corpses of Shishua's soldiers. Shishua angrily led the remaining 9 soldiers to Fragrant Jade City. Night Sorrow, I'll kill you. Shishua roared outside Fragrant Jade City. You came a little later than I expected. If you want to kill me, you can. I'm right here. Bring it on. Night Sorrow said while eating fruits. Don't be too arrogant. Shishua's eyes were bloodshot. 4 soldiers. He had lost 4 soldiers in 2 hours. This made him extremely angry. However, he didn't lose his mind. He had to consider what had happened in Fragrant Sky Town. I'll be arrogant today. I've destroyed 7 soldiers of the Devil Blood Legion and 4 of your Shishua Legion. I, Night Sorrow, have the right to be arrogant. What can you do to me? Night Sorrow stood up. Dark Abyss, in the Great Hall of Bones, the Darkness Dominator listened to the messenger's report. She didn't say anything because she couldn't tell whether Fragrant Jade City was real or not. Mandela felt that Yi Shang was most likely bluffing, but it was also possible that he was trying to provoke them. However, Mandela knew that even if Yi Shang was bluffing, the Bloodthirsty Legion only had 9 troops. They would not have an advantage in a head-on battle. Shishua waited for the Darkness Dominator's orders. Without orders, he couldn't move. Night Sorrow's strategy was too terrifying. You don't want to kill me? Then let's rest for a while before we kill you. Night Sorrow went down the tower after speaking. Commander, what should we do now? Qing Lin asked. We didn't have time before. Now, we need to set up some defenses. Then, we'll see what they do and come up with a countermeasure. However, I feel that they won't attack so easily. They only have 9 soldiers. They don't have any advantage. Let's see what the Darkness Dominator will do, Night Sorrow said. That woman is very scary, Summer City said. Chapter 1187. The Dark Ruler is a woman. Night Sorrow asked in surprise. Yes, she's a powerful, scheming, and domineering woman. She's the #1 woman in the world of reincarnation. Summer City nodded. Women are good at scheming. We should be careful. Night Sorrow nodded. What are you talking about? Lanning glanced at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow raised his head and found several sharp gazes looking at him. Hong Yi, Lanning, and Qing Wan were all looking at him. I don't mean what you think. What I mean is that women are meticulous and think things through carefully, so we have to be careful. I don't mean anything else. What are you thinking? Yi Shan said, somewhat speechless. Night Sorrow then went down the city walls and set up some formations. It wasn't a trap, but it would definitely be effective in a big battle. After setting up the formations, Night Sorrow patrolled the city and asked about the losses. Night Sorrow then learned that they had lost 2 armies. The main reason was that the Lin Wan army had started to suffer heavy losses. After writing the battle report, Night Sorrow went up to the city gates. When the Dark Ruler gives the order, I'll slaughter your fragrant jade city. Seeing Knight Soro's carefree attitude, Shishue was filled with anger. Idiot. When you attacked just now, I didn't put up any defenses. But you didn't dare. Why don't you try attacking me now? Let's see if you'll abandon another 4 armies. Knight Soro sneered. Shishue was so angry that his head buzzed. But he didn't dare to attack just now, and there was no news from the Bone Palace. Shishue's messenger also passed the news to the Great Bone Hall. Human nature. Once he understands the worries and misgivings of others, the war won't be easy to fight. Rowan, send someone to kill that guy. Then we'll fight again. With this thorn in our side, we won't be a match for him. The Darkness Lord made his decision after hearing the messenger's words. Then what about the Shishue army? Rowan asked. Z Most New, Chapter and Section F Supra, Retreat to Blackwater Town. We'll fight after this brat dies. Datura ordered. Shishue retreated with the Shishue army because he couldn't take down Fragrant Sky City. Knight Soro nodded to Qing Wan, send the news back to the Empire. Unless there are any changes or they come up with a plan, the situation will return to how it was before. The Bloodthirsty Legion retreated. After confirming that the Bloodthirsty Legion had returned to Blackwater Town, Knight Soro led his men back to the 9-story tower in Heaven Tiger Pass. In the Azure Sky Pavilion, the Azure Supreme the Arch was looking at the battle report. The ruler of darkness, Mandela, once said that if she personally led the army, she could take down the Azure Supreme Empire and the Crimson Emperor Kingdom at any time. This time, they were slapped in the face. The Bloodthirsty Legion will have to retreat. They lost 4 more armies. How can they fight? More than 10 armies were wiped out just like that. Our Azure Emperor dynasty's losses added up to only 1 army. The difference is huge. However, given Mandela's personality, she won't give up just like that. She probably has something else up her sleeve, Xian Dozi said. Her backup plan is probably the same as the Red Emperor's. She wants to kill Knight Soro. But do you think it's that easy? Besides, Knight Soro's doppelganger is out there. It's impossible for them to kill Knight Soro. Qing Emperor sneered. Knight Soro returned to Nine Chong Tower. World of Reincarnation. Sky Seizing Island. It was a special country. Zhan Taiyang, the owner of the island, was one of the giants in the world of reincarnation. If the East District of the world of reincarnation had 3 top forces, then the North District was dominated by the Heaven-Seizing Island. Zhan Taiyang was reading the information about the East District of the world of reincarnation. Island owner, this Knight Soro is the person I divined. Because we were far away, the Qing Emperor got the upper hand. A man said. He was the chief diviner of the Wuyo archipelago, Jiang Wuyu. In a situation where the giants can't easily make a move, the Qing Emperor's empire will develop very steadily with such an invincible commander. In addition, his potential is also very amazing. This person is very talented. He's worthy of me using the heaven-seizing technique. Zhan Taiyang said. But if we do that, the Qing Emperor might go crazy. Jiang Wuyu was stunned. He'll go crazy? Who will he go crazy with? Now that the Qing Emperor's empire and the Dark Abyss are in a confrontation, he will look for Datura. This blame will be taken by Datura. Alright, you'll be in charge of the Heaven-Seizing Island during this period. I'll go out for a walk. Zhan Taiyang left the main hall of the Heaven-Seizing Island. Jiang Wuyu knew that the world of reincarnation was going to be chaotic. The East District of the world of reincarnation was already chaotic. If Zhan Taiyang made a move, it would be even more chaotic. Originally, Zhan Taiyang's aptitude was very ordinary. The reason why he was able to have such great achievements now was because of a strange technique that he had researched, the heaven-seizing technique. It could be used to steal other people's cultivation aptitude and even their attributes. This was one of the important reasons for Zhan Taiyang's achievements. However, the heaven-seizing technique was an evil technique. It had a great effect on karma. Therefore, Zhang Taiyang wouldn't make a move unless he met a cultivator with heaven-defying talent. In the dark abyss, Datura informed Rowan and also made a move. Night Sorrow's existence was a hindrance to the development of the dark abyss. He had to be dealt with. Night Sorrow stayed in the 9-story tower every day. When he had nothing to do, he would deduce formations like his clone in the heaven-sealing palace. The Qing Emperor had passed Night Sorrow a manual on formations. At the same time, he also understood the heaven-sealing formation and heaven-locking formation. These two formations were extensive and profound. The heaven-locking formation was a natural formation that contained the principles of heaven. The heaven-sealing formation was the essence of the Qing Emperor's cultivation in formations. Night Sorrow didn't know that he was in danger at this time. Many people were eyeing him covetously and were about to make a move. Night Sorrow didn't know, but the Qing Emperor and Summer City knew that the secret guards of the Qing Emperor's palace had been lurking outside the 9-story tower and dealt with several groups of assassins from the Red Emperor's kingdom. Summer City also felt the crisis. As a cultivator who had cultivated for countless years, he knew how deep the water in the world of samsara was. Night Sorrow's existence made all forces feel the crisis. Not to mention other things, the Red Emperor's kingdom and the Dark Abyss didn't want Night Sorrow to live. Night Sorrow was a threat now, and the threat would be greater when he grew up. Summer City arranged Fei Xiu and Shinhan to patrol the 9-story tower every day, not giving anyone a chance to sneak in. Night Sorrow, who didn't feel anything at first, also felt the crisis. After thinking for a while, he gathered his family members together. Night Sorrow, did something happen? Yu Qing looked at her son and asked. I offended someone in the world of samsara. Now someone might attack me, so you should go back to the 9-domain world first. The 9-domain world is our world, and no one can threaten us, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1188. Then are you going back? Sikong Chiyu asked. I still have things to do here, so I can't leave. Besides, I have Uncle Xiao's protection, Fei Xiu, and the others. My personal safety is not a problem. I'm just worried that someone will attack you and use you to threaten me, Night Sorrow said. Alright, let's do as Night Sorrow says. Let's not make him worry, Yi Wuyo said. Yi Shang bowed to his father. His father supported him in everything he did. After sending his family away, Night Sorrow felt much more at ease. Looking at Night Sorrow who was deep in thought, Hong Yi made a pot of tea for Night Sorrow. At this time, Hong Yi and Lanning were clones. They had used time acceleration in the space-time pagoda to successfully condense their clones. I don't need anyone to take care of me. You can go back. Night Sorrow looked at Hong Yi and Lanning and said. He wanted to chase Xuexi away, but Hong Yi and Lanning insisted. Their clones were king, so they had to serve Night Sorrow. Young master, don't say any more. We are clones. Even if something happens, no one can use us to threaten you, Hong Yi said with a smile. All right. You win. Then that's it. No one can do anything to us if they come looking for trouble. Night Sorrow nodded and drank his tea. Night Sorrow studied the array Dao every day and watched the army train. The god-slaying team also trained with the army. Everyone's cultivation improved very quickly, especially Tianyu and Yimei. Both of them were now Saint Kings. Night Sorrow had to admire them for this. Talented monster beasts were powerful. Some bottlenecks did not exist at all. Returning to Origin, which had blocked countless people, was nothing to them. Some others had also entered the Saint Realm because Night Sorrow had given them a batch of Saint Crystals, so there was no problem for them to enter the Saint Realm. Night Sorrow told them that if they wanted to practice combat, they could train with the 9 Heaven Army. If they wanted to improve their cultivation, they could return to Sky City. Night Sorrow asked his wife to bring the space-time pagoda back to Sky City. He did not need it now, but many people around him needed time acceleration. Night Sorrow did not have to worry about Heaven Tiger Pass because Nu Lin was there. Nu Lin's talent was very good. In addition, with Night Sorrow's support, the other generals were willing to cooperate with him to guard Heaven Tiger Pass. On this day, Yi Shang was resting on the recliner with his eyes closed when Qing Wan arrived. After inviting Qing Wan sat, Night Sorrow made a pot of tea. Night Sorrow. Yes. Junior brother Night, you know the original situation of the Qing Wan army. After the Thunder Corps left, their strength decreased a lot. Later, they merged with the Azure Qilin army. Speaking of which, it was to fight with you. Now that this situation is no longer necessary, I plan to make some changes, Qing Wan said. The establishment of the Nine Heaven Army has indeed decreased the strength of the Azure Qilin and Qing Wan armies. You can ask Honored Master to see if he can replenish the troops. Night Sorrow knew that the strength of the Azure Qilin and Qing Wan armies was not as good as before. Father said that he will not ask about the matters of the army now. You can make all the decisions, Qing Wan said. Her face was a little unnatural. She was the real princess, but now she had to listen to Night Sorrow. It was mainly because she had made things difficult for Night Sorrow some time ago, so she was a little embarrassed at this moment. Most P knew our chapter B, the Nine Heaven Army has 7 armies, but they are all newly established. Now is a special time, so we can't touch them, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. I don't have any ideas about the Nine Heaven Army. Junior brother Night, can you see if you can give a military order to Pine Yuan City's army and have Azure Qilin and Qing Wan replenish an army each? Only then will our army be complete, Qing Wan quickly explained. She did not want Night Sorrow to misunderstand that she was thinking about the Nine Heaven Army. A while ago, Pine Yuan City replenished our Nine Heaven Army with 2 armies. We don't know if they still have the ability to do so. Rashly giving a military order may make things difficult for them. How about this, let's go to Pine Yuan City and see what the army there has to say, Night Sorrow said. Then many thanks, Junior brother Night. Qing Wan stood up and cupped her hands towards Night Sorrow. Afterwards, Night Sorrow brought Summer City and Qing Emperor's Guard squad to Pine Yuan City. When the army of Pine Yuan City saw Night Sorrow, their attitude was very polite. Now that Night Sorrow was the Empire's #1 commander, he could command all the armies and guards. It's like this. Azure Qilin and Qing Wan armies are not fully staffed and want to replenish. Pine Yuan City replenished the Nine Heaven Army with 2 armies a while ago, so I came to see if the situation allows Azure Qilin and Qing Wan armies to expand, Night Sorrow said. This is a bit rushed, but Your Highness can give this subordinate 3 months. Right now, we are all new. If we rashly transfer them away, their combat strength will also be a problem, the army of Pine Yuan City said. Alright, then I will trouble you. When the time is right, replenish the Azure Qilin and Qing Wan armies. Right, I am not overstepping my authority by asking about this matter, right? Night Sorrow asked. Not at all. This does not count. Right now, everything in Pine Yuan City should be reported to Your Highness. It's just that there have been many things recently, so this subordinate was not in a hurry, the army of Pine Yuan City bowed. Afterwards, Night Sorrow brought his men and Qing Wan back to the 9 grand floors. The situation is like this. Princess can only wait for 3 more months. Many thanks, Junior brother Night. Many thanks for your magnanimity and for not bickering with Qing Wan. Qing Wan cupped her hands towards Night Sorrow. Today, she had seen Night Sorrow's magnanimity and felt a bit guilty. It's nothing. If there are any problems with your defense line, let me know, Night Sorrow shook his head. Looking at Qing Wan's departing figure, Summer City said, Your Highness really doesn't care about her and Azure Qilin being ostracized? What's there to care about? It's understandable for her father to have some thoughts about the Empire. Let's just let it pass. The main thing is that I can't let Master be unhappy, Night Sorrow said. Yes, Your Highness really has peace of mind by accepting you as a disciple, Summer City said. The two of them did not know that Zhang Taiyang had already arrived at the Qing Emperor's city. He hid his cultivation and walked around the Qing Emperor's city. He easily found the 9 grand floors and stayed in an inn not far from the 9 grand floors. He wanted to observe the situation. Night sorrow was very important to him. The king of time and space dual attributes was worthy of him using the heaven-seizing technique. In the world of reincarnation, there were many kings of life, death, and space, but there were almost no kings of time. The time attribute was very difficult to comprehend, and it was the strongest in terms of battle power. The few big shots in the world of reincarnation were not of the time attribute. Zhang Taiyang felt that if he could use the heaven-seizing technique on Night Sorrow, regardless of whether he could break through the bottleneck, his battle strength would increase greatly. The few world of reincarnation giants would be suppressed by him. Not long after Zhang Taiyang stayed in the inn, Datura also appeared. She was wearing a simple long black dress with Datura embroidered on it. It was very unique. Sovereigns could not hide from the Qing Emperor's guards, but Datura had the ability to hide from the Qing Emperor's guards. Chapter 1189. A Night Sorrow felt a little strange. He couldn't describe this feeling, but he felt a little uneasy. He brewed a pot of heart-cleansing tea, but it was still the same. He didn't understand the situation. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow asked Hong Yi to teleport to 7 Night City and City in the sky to take a look. He also instructed the guards of the Interrealm teleportation formation. Then, he went to Sky Tiger Pass to take a look. After that, Night Sorrow brought Summer City to the Merit Hall of the Qing Emperor's palace to exchange for the secret method to refine the Interrealm teleportation stone. He planned to find time to refine the Interrealm teleportation stone. Only then could the 9 regions world truly rest in peace, Wuyo. Night Sorrow also asked about it. His merit points in the Qing Emperor's palace had already reached 3 million. This was the military's report after several wars, and the Qing Emperor had personally approved it. Merit points were hard currency. They could be exchanged for cultivation time in the reincarnation palace, resources, and so on. Night Sorrow didn't need to exchange for anything. He now had 130 years of cultivation time in the reincarnation palace. When he needed it, it would probably be the next time he went into seclusion. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow took the teleportation formation to 7 Night City and refined the Interrealm teleportation stone. In other words, as long as he didn't bring anyone with a higher cultivation than him, they wouldn't be able to enter the 9 regions world through the teleportation formation. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that he didn't need to deal with the teleportation formation connected to the Wuji world. Yen Tianpa wouldn't allow King to enter the Wuji world. The teleportation formation was connected to his soul. As long as someone's cultivation was higher than his, he would be alerted and could control the teleportation. After doing this, Night Sorrow felt a little more at ease. Then, he took the teleportation formation back to the 9 regions building. Your Highness should be relieved now. The 9 regions world is impregnable. Even a powerful figure can't forcefully attack it, Summer City said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that the 9 regions world was safe, but he was still a little nervous. However, he didn't say anything else. At this moment, a figure appeared outside the 9 regions building. A large hand grabbed towards Night Sorrow. How dare you! Summer City took a step forward and slashed out with his saber. A mantis trying to stop a chariot. A cold voice rang out as the giant hand in the air smashed downwards. Damn it, so you're Zhang Taiyang, that shameless old man. Summer City slashed furiously with his saber, but the big fist in the air kept smashing down. Your Highness, let's go. Summer City roared angrily. He was no match for Zhang Taiyang. Zhang Taiyang was a sky pillar with a cultivation level higher than a monarch. He was just stuck at a bottleneck and had not entered the 9th rank. He was not someone he could fight against. If you want to stop me, then you can die. Don't even think about leaving. Soaring fire sky. Zhan Taiyang, who was in the air, spread out his left hand and countless flames surrounded the main hall of the 9 stories pavilion. You're not qualified to kill my summer city. Your Highness, stand behind me. 7 killers of the universe. Summer City waved his saber and gathered the energy of heaven and earth. He wanted to kill his way out and take Night Sorrow away. With a muffled sound, Zhan Taiyang's fist was shattered by Summer City. Summer City brought Night Sorrow out of the main hall, but he was blocked by Zhan Taiyang again. You don't know what's good for you. Then die. Zhan Taiyang's body danced. His right hand gathered red and black energy and attacked Summer City. With a muffled sound, Summer City's body was pushed back and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Zhan Taiyang's willpower had reached perfection. He was not someone he could fight against, so he was severely injured. Zhan Taiyang, you're courting death. At this moment, a roar was heard. Then, a sword light appeared. This sword light seemed to have cut open space and the world. It directly slashed towards Zhan Taiyang. It was the Qing Emperor. The Qing Emperor had arrived. When Zhan Taiyang attacked, Summer City had sent a message. Even if Summer City did not send a message, Zhan Taiyang's all-out attack had attracted the attention of the Qing Emperor. Diyong Mgyo Shi S read % plus novel %. After the Azure Supreme the Arch arrived, he started fighting with Zhan Taiyang in the air above the 9-story tower. He was furious. Yi Shang was a disciple he had high hopes for. Now that Zhan Taiyang had attacked Yi Shang, it was equivalent to slapping his face. How could he not be angry? Uncle Summer, how are you? Night Sorrow supported Summer City and fed Summer City elixir of life and elixir of origin. This shameless old man. Summer City cursed. Now that Master is here, everything will be fine. Uncle Summer, heal up first. Night Sorrow helped Summer City sit down and then watched the battle in the sky. Zhan Taiyang originally did not want to expose himself. However, after observing for a while, he realized that Summer City was Night Sorrow's follower and would not leave Night Sorrow's side. He had no choice but to get Summer City under his control first. After all, he was not afraid of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. However, he did not expect Summer City to be so strong that he blocked him directly. Qing Emperor, I want this disciple of yours. Go get another one. A figure flew out from Zhan Taiyang's body and rushed towards Night Sorrow. A big hand grabbed Night Sorrow and dragged him away. This figure was Zhan Taiyang's clone. He realized that he could not defeat the Qing Emperor, so he did not want to waste any more time. He wanted to capture Night Sorrow and leave. Don't you dare. Qing Emperor slashed at Zhan Taiyang's clone with a sword light. However, Zhan Taiyang's clone flashed and dodged Qing Emperor's sword. Cut! At this time, a blade light came out from the space crack. It was aimed at Zhan Taiyang's back after he dodged Qing Emperor's sword light. Before the blade light, there was a black light wave that controlled Zhan Taiyang's clone. Then, the blade light directly cut Zhan Taiyang's clone into 2 halves. Datura, you and I are irreconcilable enemies. Zhan Taiyang roared. It was a great loss for him to lose his clone. Now, Datura was holding the storage ring of his clone in her left hand. Datura held a black saber with patterns on it in her right hand and the storage ring of Zhan Taiyang's clone in her left hand. Night Sorrow was also imprisoned by her side. You and I are irreconcilable enemies. Are you trying to scare me? Let me tell you, this is the eastern region of the world of Samsara. I can do whatever I want with Qing Emperor and Red Emperor. If you dare to come, I will kill you. Datura said to Zhan Taiyang. All of you, remember this. Zhan Taiyang roared. His body emitted a red light, and his body drew an arc in the air as he flashed away. Zhan Taiyang, I have something to deal with today. Otherwise, I will kill you. Qing Emperor didn't chase after him. Instead, he looked at Datura who had caught Night Sorrow. Qing Emperor, don't look at me like I am your enemy. I snatched him from Zhang Taiyang. Datura grabbed Night Sorrow with his left hand and pulled him to his side. Are you doing this for no reason? Qing Emperor looked at Datura and said. Do you think I'll care if there's a name or not? This guy killed 11 soldiers of my dark abyss. I can't do anything to him. Datura's eyes were full of killing intent. In 2 wars, Night Sorrow killed 11 soldiers of the dark abyss. It was a slap to Datura's face. He is the commander of the army. There is nothing wrong with commanding the war. As long as you let him go, I promise you that he will no longer participate in the war between the Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Dark Abyss. Qing Emperor said. Chapter 1190. Looking at Night Sorrow who was captured, Qing Emperor actually compromised. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said that Night Sorrow would no longer participate in the army battle. Hee. There is no room for discussion. I will take him away. You can't stop me. You reap what you sow. Datura shook his head. Do you really want me to fight to the death with you? Qing Emperor's sword flowed with green light. It could be seen that his emotions were fluctuating. Master, I have troubled you, but what can she do to me? Go! Yi Shan roared and a green light appeared on his body. He took his storage ring and weapons and broke through space to enter the turbulent flow of space. What did you do? Datura looked at Night Sorrow suspiciously and asked. I didn't do anything. I gave away all the important things on me. Now, I am just a clone. You can kill me if you want. Using me to threaten my master, you are thinking too much. Night Sorrow said coldly. Ha! Good. Qing Emperor laughed loudly. You want to challenge me? What kind of person am I? I have never been threatened by others before. There are many ways to make you compromise. Datura wrapped around Night Sorrow's energy vibrated. Who knows, it might shatter Night Sorrow in the next moment. Are you trying to scare me? There is no harm in telling you. What left just now was the origin of the world. I am the Realm Master. In my world, I am immortal. Can you bite me? Let me tell you, from today onwards, I will fight you. Master, don't be threatened by him. I have a treasure that can accelerate space. Cultivating a clone is a matter of a few years. Night Sorrow looked at Datura coldly. How much soul power do you have to cultivate a clone? Datura narrowed his eyes and looked at Night Sorrow. I'm sorry, but I refined a bunch of supplement spirit pills. Do you think I'm not afraid of losing my clone? Night Sorrow said with a smile on his face. Alright, let's see how she's going to play. At worst, you can just disperse this avatar. Master will help you settle your grudge. Qing Emperor was also confident in his heart because Datura really couldn't do anything to Night Sorrow. Datura grabbed Night Sorrow and left in a flash. Qing Emperor didn't chase after him because it was useless. Night Sorrow was in Datura's hands, and he couldn't snatch it away. At this time, Summer City had recovered a little. Your Majesty, it's my fault for not protecting Night Sorrow well. No one can protect him. Night Sorrow should have dispersed his avatar directly. That way, I could have fought and helped him vent his anger. Qing Emperor frowned and said. It's not that His Highness doesn't have guts. It's just that His Highness's original body is cultivating in the Samsara Palace. If his avatar died at this time, it would affect the original body's cultivation. Summer City said. I see. Then let's wait. Summer City, follow me back first. You can come back when Night Sorrow comes back. Qing Emperor looked at Summer City and said. His Highness isn't here. I have to look after the house. I'll wait for His Highness in the Nine Chong Tower. Summer City said. Free BV fee forever. When they returned to Qing Emperor's palace, Qing Emperor told Xian Daozi and Zhan Tan about what happened. Bastard! How dare they attack junior brother? Master, I'm going to fight. I'm going to make a river of blood flow in the dark abyss. Zhan Tan's body was full of murderous intent. This matter had crossed his bottom line. Okay. Just teach them a lesson. Remember to retreat after killing them. Go somewhere else and kill them. Qing Emperor nodded. He was also a man with guts. Datura's actions had angered him. Qing Emperor then called Tan Lin, asking him to go to the Nine Chong Tower and Sky Tiger Pass to stabilize the Nine Heavens army. But in reality, even if Tan Lin went, it would be useless. The 7 generals of the Nine Heaven army gathered and expressed their stance. The Nine Heaven army would only listen to the imperial decree and Yi Shang's orders. Unless Yi Shang died or Yi Shang personally said that he did not care about the Nine Heaven army anymore, no one else could interfere. If there was a problem, they would resolve it. When Tan Lin returned to report, he thought Qing Emperor would be angry. Unexpectedly, Qing Emperor only nodded and said, "This is what it means to lead an army. Don't ask about the Nine Heavens army for now. They aren't brainless." Knight Sorrow was taken to the dark abyss by Datura and brought to the White Bone Hall. He tossed Knight Sorrow into the hall. Datura's dress was embroidered on it. Datura sat down on the white bone throne. "Do you need to be so rude? Either you kill me or be more polite." "There's no point in beating me up like this," said Knight Sorrow as he stood up and tidied up his battle robes after being thrown to the ground. "Ruler, who is this?" Rowan asked. While Rowan was speaking, Demon Blood, who was standing in the White Bone Hall, took action. He punched Knight Sorrow and sent him flying. He then pulled out his great sword and slashed at Knight Sorrow. "Stop! Demon Blood, you are being impudent." Datura waved his arm, sending Demon Blood flying. "Ruler, please punish me." However, he killed 11 of our legions. All of the Demon Blood Legion's soldiers died at his hands, Demon Blood said as he knelt on one knee before Datura. Knight Sorrow stood up and straightened out his robes once more. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Demon Blood. "You still have the face to say that? That wasn't my problem, nor was it the Dark Abyss's problem. You were the one who deserved to die. You." Demon Blood wanted nothing more than to cut Knight Sorrow into 1,000 pieces. However, without Datura's permission, Demon Blood didn't dare do so. "Knight Sorrow, tell me. What do you want in order for me to serve you?" Datura asked Knight Sorrow. "Then you should just kill me." Knight Sorrow didn't refuse. However, his words left no room for negotiation. "You will come to your senses. Men, bring him to the Dragon Bone Hall and lock him up," Datura ordered. Following that, someone brought Knight Sorrow to the Dragon Bone Hall and locked him up with a meteorite chain that had been reinforced by an array formation. Knight Sorrow wanted to make tea, but the tea set and wine were in his storage ring. The 9-region origin bead had taken them away, and they were still flying toward the 9-region world. With nothing else to do, Knight Sorrow sat down to meditate and deduce an array formation. 4 hours later, Datura arrived at the Dragon Bone Hall. "How about it? Consider it. Whatever the Qing Emperor can give you, I can give you. I can give you the Commander-in-Chief and your Highness. The Qing Emperor has a son. You aren't the only Highness in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, but you can in the Dark Abyss. I have no descendants or disciples. If you agree, you will be the only Highness in the Dark Abyss," Datura said as he sat on the main seat in the Dragon Bone Hall. "Ruler, you are very sincere. However, Master has treated me well. I can't betray him. I can only say that I am not fated with the Dark Abyss," Knight Sorrow said. "However, you should know that I was the one who saved you from Zhan Taiyang. Do you know who Zhan Taiyang is? Island Master Duotian. His talent is at the level of trash, but he developed a special skill called heaven seizing. It can take away other people's talent, opportunities, and luck. You may be a clone, but even if you disperse your clone, he can still capture your soul power and do something. So, you should be grateful, Datura said as he made tea. Perhaps you helped me, but I can't betray the Qing Emperor's dynasty. I can't do it. Give me some tea. Although I am a prisoner, I need to be humane. Knight Sorrow pointed at the teacup in front of Datura. Chapter 1191. You are the first person to be so rude to me in the Dragonbone Palace. I'll give you some tea then. Datura waved her arm and the small tea table in front of her flew to Knight Sorrow. I'm already like this. Who do I need to be polite to? Knight Sorrow took the tea set and started to make tea. Knight Sorrow knew very well that he would never betray the Qing Emperor's empire. Datura would also not let him go. His doppelganger would definitely be destroyed. The reason why he was delaying it now was so that he would not interrupt the cultivation of his original body. Be genuine, Art Dragonbone Palace is where I rest and cultivate. Think about it carefully. If you have any requests, I will definitely satisfy them. I have the ruthlessness and magnanimity. For example, I offended Zhang Taiyang for the sake of the world of reincarnation, Datura said. If you can prove that Zhang Taiyang can hurt my doppelganger, then I, Knight Sorrow, will owe you a favor. Knight Sorrow took a sip of tea and said. What's the use of your favor? I can do whatever you can do. I see that you are a talent and hope that you will serve me and the Dark Abyss. Datura glanced at Knight Sorrow. She did not care about Knight Sorrow's favor. Don't bully the young. Who knows what will happen in the future? Knight Sorrow did not take Datura's disdain to heart. Are you really not willing to serve me and the Dark Abyss? The army of the Dark Abyss is strong and there are many of them. They will give you more space to perform. Datura stared into Knight Sorrow's eyes and asked. I really hate war. War represents death, so I really can't serve the Dark Abyss. Knight Sorrow said. Then you should know that I won't let you leave. Also, according to your character recorded in the information, and you've made preparations, why don't you disperse your clone? Why are you in a stalemate with me? Datura was puzzled. Let's not beat around the bush. My main body is currently in cultivation retreat. It is currently in the midst of a state of epiphany. I am not afraid of my clone dying. However, it would disrupt my main body's state of epiphany. It would be best to minimize the losses. Whenever you want to kill me, just do it, said Knight Sorrow after taking a sip of tea. Epiphany. It seems you are really a talent. Datura swayed her skirt and sat on the praying mat to meditate. Knight Sorrow also began to meditate. He continued to deduce the array formation and studied the essence of the heaven-locking array and heaven-sealing array. 3 days later, someone came to the Dragonbone Palace to request an audience. It was Luowen. After Luowen entered, he reported to Datura that the Qing Emperor dynasty's sandalwood was massacring the towns and fortresses of the Dark Abyss. Several city lords, commanders, and generals had already been killed. Is this guy crazy? Datura frowned. That lunatic said that as long as we imprison his junior brother, Knight Sorrow, he will slaughter the Dark Abyss. Those city lords and generals can't stop him at all. His targets are the leaders of some of the cities and armies in the Dark Abyss, Luowen reported. It seems the bond between brothers is deep. Knight Sorrow, you have been in the Qing Emperor dynasty for less than a year, right? Why would Sandalwood risk his life for you? Datura looked at Knight Sorrow in confusion. I can do anything for senior brother. Senior brother naturally wouldn't stand by and do nothing while I am imprisoned, Knight Sorrow said. You can do anything for him. It seems the relationship between the two of you isn't simple. Datura discovered the meaning behind Night Sorrow's words. That's right. Senior brother is imprisoned in the demon ceiling tower by Master. I often visit him. We are the only disciples under Master. Naturally, we have to support each other. Night Sorrow nodded. Were you the one who cured his madness? Mandela asked after thinking for a moment. This wasn't because Datura was smart. It was because Sandalwood had been imprisoned for 5 million years. If the Qing Emperor and the others could cure him, Sandalwood wouldn't have been possessed for so long. When Night Sorrow arrived in the Qing Emperor dynasty, Sandalwood recovered. Naturally, he had both. Yes. Night Sorrow didn't try to hide it. It seems you are quite capable. Tell Sandalwood that Night Sorrow is a guest in the Dark Abyss. I have no plans to kill him. If he tries anything funny again, I will immediately kill his junior brother, Datura instructed Rowan. Ruler, don't we need to send someone to kill him? Rowan asked softly. If I don't do anything, no one in the Dark Abyss can kill him. At most, they can force him to retreat. It's meaningless. Follow my orders. He will retreat. Datura waved his hand, dismissing Rowan. Glancing at Night Sorrow, Datura continued to meditate. Now that Night Sorrow wasn't willing to compromise, there was nothing she could do. Killing him was just a clone. There wasn't much point in doing so. There was no point in forcing him. When he couldn't bear it or wasn't willing to bear it, Night Sorrow would disperse the clone. When that happened, Datura would have done all her work for nothing. Not only would she have offended the Qing Emperor, but she would also have offended Zhang Taiyang. Of course, Datura wasn't afraid, but she would still be at a disadvantage. Sandalwood retreated, but before he left behind a message. If anything happened to Night Sorrow's clone, he would carry out an endless slaughter in the Dark Abyss. A threat was a threat. After returning to the Qing Emperor's palace, Sandalwood reported to the Qing Emperor. He didn't want to force Datura too much. After all, it was better not to lose Night Sorrow's clone. You did the right thing. Your junior brother is fine in her hands. The worst outcome would be your junior brother losing one of his clones. If it landed in Zhang Taiyang's hands, that would be a huge problem. Datura has helped us this time. The Qing Emperor said. Your Majesty, many people have their eyes on His Highness Night Sorrow. The fact that Zhang Taiyang and Mandela took action proves this point. He is different from Her Highness Sandalwood. When Her Highness Sandalwood traveled the world, she already had the ability to protect herself. His Highness Night Sorrow is still lacking, said Xian Daozi. Not really. Night Sorrow is a realm lord. His ability to protect himself is still very strong. Unless he meets an evil person like Zhang Taiyang. However, Zhang Taiyang also suffered heavy losses this time. The Qing Emperor said. Your Majesty, you can tell His Highness that the next time he encounters danger, he can just disperse his clone and leave with the world origin bead wrapped in his soul power. That way, the enemy can't do anything. Xian Dozi said. Let's wait for Night Sorrow to return. Let's see how the battle between him and Datura ends. The Qing Emperor nodded. He felt that he had overlooked some issues. Datura was very quiet. After knowing that Sandalwood had retreated, she had been meditating quietly every day. She didn't send out any troops to fight the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Night Sorrow spent every day deducing formations because he had nothing to do. Other than making tea to calm himself down. Although he was chained by the meteorite iron, Night Sorrow had a rare moment of peace. Datura was the Dark Ruler. The tea he drank was of the highest quality. Night Sorrow spent every day making tea and studying formations. He was very satisfied. I feel that you don't have the awareness of being a prisoner. Instead, you are relaxing. Looking at Night Sorrow drinking tea, Datura was a little angry. Chapter 1192. What can I do now? Do you want some tea? Night Sorrow waved his sleeve, and a teacup flew towards Datura Datura. Datura Datura caught the teacup with his right hand. He glanced at Night Sorrow, lifted his veil, and took a sip. Not bad. Make tea for me every day in the future, Datura Datura said after putting down the teacup. How can you be like this? You're chained up, and you want me to make tea for you? Night Sorrow was a little speechless. Come, unlock the chains. Kid, remember, if you dare to leave within 100 meters of me, I'll kill you, Datura Datura warned Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He knew Datura Datura was serious, but he didn't need to run. His main body was still cultivating, and it wouldn't be fun if his clone was killed. Night Sorrow was a little more free in the Dragon Bone Hall. When he had nothing to do, Night Sorrow took a pen and drew a diagram. He wanted to study the Killing Lock formation, but he was very careful when he drew it. Only he could understand it. This was to guard against Datura Datura. Ghost symbol. Datura Datura scanned the entire hall with his soul power. She was very clear about what Night Sorrow was doing. She checked Night Sorrow's drawing, but she couldn't understand it. The essence of the formation. It can defeat the Dark Abyss army with low consumption. Night Sorrow didn't care about Datura Datura's sneer. Only the Qing Emperor has extra time to study this. Your own strength is the way to go, Datura Datura said. Not really. Besides my main body, I have 2 clones. The clones don't have any comprehension of the laws of heaven and earth. One of my clones can deduce the formation, and the other can study refining and alchemy. This way, nothing will be delayed, Night Sorrow said as he drew the diagram. You're amazing. Datura Datura didn't continue to refute Night Sorrow's words. Night Sorrow's arrangement was reasonable. I have an ancient diagram here. It's your army's joint attack formation. After a moment of silence, Datura Datura took out a yellowed beast skin. I want the diagram, but there are some things I need to make clear to you. First of all, the 9 Heaven Army's joint attack formation already has 7 types. I can only teach you one. In addition, when I return, I'll study the formation break. If your joint attack formation fails, you can't blame me, Night Sorrow said. Only one. That won't do. This is an ancient diagram. It is extremely valuable. In other words, no such formation is popular at present. Since you can control it, it's the only one. Let's exchange 3 types of joint attack formation, Datura Datura said. 2 types. If you want to exchange, then so be it. If not, then forget it, Night Sorrow said. Aren't you going a little overboard? Why are there only 2 types? Datura Datura said, frowning. Actually, 2 types are quite a lot. With the joint attack formation, the Dark Abyss army won't have an advantage against 9 Heavens army. However, against the Red Emperor's army, their advantage will be obvious. If I didn't come up with this diagram, I won't give it to you, no matter what price you offer, Night Sorrow said. Alright, then. Now, draw the diagram for the joint attack formation, Datura Datura said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He then drew the diagram for the 3-man joint attack formation and the 4-man joint attack formation, including the key points and positioning of the formation. Then, he handed it to Datura Datura. I just drew a few lines, and I got this ancient diagram. You sure earn resources quickly. Datura Datura looked at the diagram and, after confirming that there was no problem with it, handed the yellowed animal hide to Night Sorrow. How can you say that? It's easy for you to see me carve it out, but when I was researching it, after much deliberation and deduction, this kind of joint attack formation is the most reasonable. It's also the one that can maximize combat strength. Night Sorrow was somewhat dissatisfied with Mandela's understatement of his accomplishments. You have a joint attack formation, but so do we. You can break our 3-man and 4-man joint attack formations, but we Dark Abyss warriors also understand 3-man and 4-man joint attack formations. We can break yours as well. Datura was very satisfied with the diagram. What an amateur. If you think like that, Dark Abyss will suffer a crushing defeat against the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Like I said, 9 Heavens Legion currently has 7 types of joint attack formations. When we fight Dark Abyss again, I will forbid the use of the current 3-man and 4-man joint attack formations. If we use 5-man and 6-man joint attack formations, your understanding and deciphering them will be useless. If you use joint attack formations, you will be showing off your slight skill in front of an expert. It's no different from suicide, Knight Sorrow said as he looked at Datura. You dare scheme against me? Datura's eyes flashed with an ominous glint after hearing Knight Sorrow's words. I'm facing you head-on right now. I don't plan on tricking you. If I did plan on tricking you, I wouldn't have said those words. Your Dark Abyss will pay a heavy price for your thoughts just now. Truly unreasonable. Knight Sorrow went to the side to meditate. Positive. After hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Datura's cold aura slowly dissipated. She knew that Knight Sorrow was telling the truth. Over the next few days, Knight Sorrow used a pen and paper to analyze the ancient diagram Datura took out. Extensive, profound, and ruthless. This was Knight Sorrow's evaluation of the 9 secret slaughtering god formation. The formation was profound, and Knight Sorrow had a hard time analyzing it. Every day, his mind was immersed in the formation. Datura was a little naughty. Every time Knight Sorrow was immersed, he would ask Knight Sorrow to make tea. Knight Sorrow couldn't deny Datura's intentions. If he delayed, then so be it. What he didn't lack now was time. His main body was cultivating, and his clone was trapped. What could he do? You're lucky. This seat cultivates alchemy. Otherwise, this diagram wouldn't have landed in your hands. Datura said as he watched Knight Sorrow study the diagram after making tea. Only the virtuous can occupy it. Knight Sorrow replied Datura. Bastard. You dare say this seat has no virtue. Datura took the teacup in front of him and splashed it at Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow's face was full. Datura used energy to imprison Knight Sorrow before splashing the tea. Knight Sorrow couldn't avoid it. Wiping his face, Knight Sorrow felt helpless. Datura's fist was big, and he was now a prisoner. After wiping his face, Knight Sorrow sat down. There was no joy or anger on his face. Not angry. Seeing Knight Sorrow sit down quietly, Datura asked. She felt that Knight Sorrow should be angry. She knew very well that Knight Sorrow wasn't afraid of her, and there was nothing to be afraid of. Why would a man like me be angry with a woman? Besides, you took me away from Zhan Taiyang. It can be considered a favor. Knight Sorrow said. What do you mean by took me away? You saved me. Datura corrected Knight Sorrow's choice of words. No, if you let me go, then you saved me. If you didn't let me go or killed me, then you didn't save me. Taking me away is more appropriate. Knight Sorrow didn't think that Datura's use of the word save was more reasonable. This seat doesn't believe that I can't subdue you. After listening to Knight Sorrow's words, Datura's anger rose. Chapter 1193. And BSP, since things have come to this, what else can I do? Drink some tea. Knight Sorrow waved his sleeve and a teacup flew towards Datura. Datura caught the teacup with his right hand and glanced at Knight Sorrow. Then, he lifted his veil and took a sip. After putting down the teacup, Datura said, not bad. From now on, make tea for me every day. How can you be like this? You're chained up and you want me to make tea for you? Knight Sorrow said, somewhat speechless. Come, unlock the chains. Kid, remember this. If you dare to leave within 100 meters of me, I will kill you. Datura warned Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He knew Datura was serious. However, he didn't need to run. His main body was still cultivating. It wouldn't be fun if his avatar was killed. Night Sorrow had some freedom in the Dragon Bone Hall. When he had nothing to do, Night Sorrow took out a pen and drew an array diagram. He wanted to study the Deathlock array and combine it with the array diagram. However, he was very careful when he drew the diagram. Only he could understand it. This was to guard against Datura. Ghost symbol. Datura scanned the entire hall with her soul power. She was very clear about what Night Sorrow was doing. However, she couldn't understand what Night Sorrow was drawing. The essence of an array diagram. It can defeat the Dark Abyss army with low consumption. Night Sorrow didn't care about Datura's ridicule. Only the Qing Emperor has the time to study this. Your own strength is the way to go. Datura said. Not really. Aside from my main body, I have 2 avatars. The avatars don't have any comprehension of the laws of heaven and earth. One of my avatars can deduce the array diagram, and the other can study refining and alchemy. This way, nothing will be delayed. Night Sorrow said as he drew the array diagram. You're amazing. Datura didn't continue to refute Night Sorrow's words. After all, Night Sorrow's arrangement was reasonable. I have an ancient array diagram here. It's your army's combination array diagram. After a moment of silence, Datura took out a yellowed beast skin. I really want the array diagram, but there are some things I need to make clear to you. First of all, the 9 Heavens Legion already has 7 types of joint attack arrays. I can only teach you one. In addition, when I return, I will study how to break the array. If your joint attack array fails, you cannot blame me, Night Sorrow said. Most. New chapter, previous, only 1. That won't do. This is an ancient array diagram. It's extremely valuable. In other words, no such array diagram is currently popular. If you can control it, then it's the only one. Let's exchange 3 types of combination array diagram, Datura said. 2 types. If you want to exchange, then so be it. If not, then forget it, Night Sorrow said. Aren't you going a little overboard? Why are there only 2 types? Datura said, frowning. Actually, 2 types isn't a small number. With the combination array diagram, the Dark Army won't have an advantage against the 9 Heavens Legion. However, against the Red Emperor's empire, the advantage will be obvious. If I didn't research the array diagram, I wouldn't have agreed to it, no matter what price you offer, Night Sorrow said. Alright, then we'll exchange. Now, draw the combination array diagram, Datura said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He then drew the combination array diagram for the 3-man and 4-man combination arrays, including the key points and positioning of the combination arrays. Then, he handed it to Datura. I just drew a few lines, and I got this ancient array diagram. You earn resources really quickly, Datura said after examining the array diagram. After confirming that there was no problem with it, he handed the yellowed beast hide to Night Sorrow. How can you say that? It's easy for you to see me draw the array diagram, but during research, after much deliberation, this combination array diagram is the most logical. It's also the one that can maximize combat power, Night Sorrow said, somewhat dissatisfied with Datura's dismissal of his achievements. You have a combination array diagram, but so do we. You can break our 3-man and 4-man combination arrays, but we Dark Abyss warriors also understand 3-man and 4-man combination arrays. We can break yours as well. Datura was very satisfied with the combination array diagram he had obtained. You're an amateur. If you think like that, Dark Abyss will suffer a crushing defeat against the Qing Emperor's dynasty. I've already said that the Nine Heavens Legion currently has 7 types of combination array diagrams. When we fight Dark Abyss again, I will forbid the use of the current 3-man and 4-man combination arrays. If we use 5-man and 6-man combination arrays, your understanding and deciphering them will be useless. If you use combination arrays, you'll be displaying your slight skill in front of an expert. It's no different from throwing your life away, Night Sorrow said, glancing at Datura. You dare scheme against me? Datura's eyes flashed with a ferocious light after hearing Night Sorrow's words. I'm facing you head-on right now. I don't plan on tricking you. If I did plan on tricking you, I wouldn't have said those words. Your Dark Abyss will pay a heavy price for your thoughts just now. Truly unreasonable. Night Sorrow went to the side to meditate. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Datura's cold aura slowly dissipated. She knew that Night Sorrow was telling the truth. Over the next few days, Night Sorrow used a pen and paper to analyze the ancient array diagram Datura took out. Extensive, profound, and ruthless. This was Night Sorrow's evaluation of the 9 secret slaughtering god array. The array diagram was profound, and Night Sorrow had a hard time analyzing it. Every day, he would be immersed in the array diagram. Datura was a bit naughty. Every time Night Sorrow was immersed, he would call Night Sorrow to make tea. Night Sorrow couldn't deny Datura's intentions. If he delayed, then so be it. What he didn't lack now was time. His main body was cultivating, and his clone was trapped. What could he do? You're lucky. I cultivate alchemy. Otherwise, this array diagram wouldn't have landed in your hands. Datura once again watched Night Sorrow study the array diagram after making tea. Only the virtuous can occupy it. Night Sorrow replied Datura. Bastard. You dare say I'm not virtuous? Datura picked up the teacup in front of him and splashed it directly at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's face was full. Before Datura splashed the tea, he used energy to imprison Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow couldn't escape. Night Sorrow wiped his face helplessly. Datura's fist was big, and he was now a prisoner. After wiping his face, Night Sorrow sat down. There was no joy or anger on his face. You're not angry? Seeing Night Sorrow sit down quietly, Datura asked. She felt that Night Sorrow should be angry. She was very clear that Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of her, and there was nothing to be afraid of. Why would a man like me be angry with a woman? Besides, you snatched me from Zhan Taiyang's hands. I owe you a favor. Night Sorrow said. What do you mean snatched? You saved me. Datura corrected Night Sorrow's choice of words. No, if you let me go, then you saved me. If you didn't let me go or killed me, then you didn't save me. Snatching is more appropriate. Night Sorrow didn't think that Datura's use of the word saved was reasonable. I don't believe I can't subdue you. After listening to Night Sorrow's words, Datura's anger rose. Chapter 1194. And $BSP, you're thinking too much. I'll bear with it when I can. If I can't, then I'll just disband my clone and stop playing with you. Night Sorrow said. In fact, this was the reason why Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of Datura. Datura pointed at Night Sorrow. Her finger was trembling. She had never been defeated like this in countless years. Even the other big shots didn't make her feel so uncomfortable. Night Sorrow was now a pain in the neck. She couldn't do anything to him. Forever / free to see, a little r, I'll think of a way. I'll think of a way to deal with you. Datura coldly snorted and sat down. She felt that this matter needed to be thought over. Night Sorrow was with her, so there was a chance. Yishang didn't care if Mandela was angry or not. If his doppelganger could survive, then so be it. However, he planned to endure until his main body woke up. Until he couldn't bear it anymore, then he would talk about it. Seeing Night Sorrow lying on the table inscribing an array diagram, Datura couldn't help but check. Her expression changed because her soul power was suppressed when she was near Night Sorrow. Datura didn't understand what was going on. She was known as the ruler of darkness, but in reality, she was the ruler of death. She cultivated the high-level death attribute. Now that her soul power was suppressed, there was only one possibility. Night Sorrow's supreme attribute was on him. Night Sorrow and Datura looked at each other. Datura probed, so Night Sorrow naturally noticed. You probed me? Night Sorrow looked at Datura. You hid it very well. Normal people wouldn't be able to detect it, but I did. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. I don't have any enmity towards you, nor am I guarded against you. It's impolite to spy on others. I like this kind of website the most. You must give it a good review. Night Sorrow said. He didn't have time or space energy to protect himself just now, so when Datura checked him out, the energy invaded his body. Do I need to be polite to you? Datura retorted. So what if we find out? My true body isn't here, I'm the Realm Lord. Which one of you can stop me from rising? Night Sorrow stood up as his aura fluctuated. Right now, he wasn't afraid of anything. Calm down, calm down. Let's sit down and talk. Datura waved at Night Sorrow. Don't try anything funny. It's useless. As long as you show any signs of attacking me, I'll immediately disperse this clone. Night Sorrow sat down and said. Datura kept looking at Night Sorrow. After a while, he nodded. King with both time and space attributes. His body does indeed have void energy and void laws. He's at the peak of the Holy King realm. He hasn't become a king yet. That's it. Night Sorrow looked at Datura. Tell me, what will it take for you to become my disciple? Datura said. No, I won't betray Master. He didn't know if the Samsara Palace could protect his soul, but he couldn't compromise. You don't believe in my ability? When I use the soul-extinguishing nether spring, I'll lose 30% of my soul power. However, after your soul is polluted, you won't be able to improve in the future. Datura's eyes were filled with murderous intent again. I believe you. I may pay a heavy price, but I won't be completely destroyed. My original body is cultivating in the Samsara Palace. Even if you can destroy my original body, I still have a real trump card. It's a doppelganger that has merged with the origin of the Nine Zones world. That doppelganger is made of flesh and blood and has completely merged with the origin of the Nine Zones world. After my original body is destroyed, that doppelganger will become my original body. The disadvantage is that it can't leave the Nine Zones world. After that doppelganger becomes my original body, it can still create doppelganger. Night Sorrow looked at Datura and said. I don't have to destroy you. You have to give me a reason that can convince me, a reason that can fully support you. Datura exhaled and said. I really can't take you as my master. If I do, I won't be able to be a human. I won't be able to face the people I know in the Qing Emperor's empire. I won't be able to face myself. Night Sorrow closed his eyes and said. But how do you want me to choose? I have no choice. Datura smashed the table in front of him with his arm. At this moment, a few dark warriors appeared in the hall. Get out! Get out! Datura yelled. I can swear that I'll live and die with you, Night Sorrow said. That's not enough. The strongest relationships in this world are family, the relationship between master and disciple, and the relationship between brothers. As for family, we have no relationship at all. You don't want to be master and disciple, so it's impossible for us to be brothers. How about you come to the monarch realm and marry me? Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said.